June 25th, 2024. I'm Mayor Alex DeSome. We're gonna call roll, Madam Clerk, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by our Major, Kesley Brook of the North Miami Police Department, and by invocation by Anita Porter of the First Glorious Church of Love. And then we'll have order of business, followed by a couple of special presentation.
Mayor Deselme,
Here?
Vice Mayor Estime Irvin,
Present.
Councilman Galvin,
Here.
Councilwoman Timothy.
Here. I'm virtually.
Thank you. Councilman Charles.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you.
If you can all join me, rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for an invocation.
Loving, gracious God, we thank you in the name of Jesus for this meeting, and we ask, God, that you send your wisdom to all these, your elected leaders, your officials, the residents of this city, God. We ask that you give them wisdom so that they can judge equitably amongst all the residents of this city. We thank you and we bless you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor. Madam Manager, do we have any additions, amendments, or deletion to the agenda?
We do. On item 7, that item is being pulled. Then agenda items K, M, R, and S.
K. You say N or M?
M as in Mary.
Mary, okay.
R and S, however, need to be addressed because these are quasi-judicial.
Got it. Okay, got it. Madam Clerk, you got it?
I don't got it. What are we doing?
So, my understanding is one of the council members is asking that those be pulled, so
Which-
that has to
I
be
didn't-
voted on.
Oh, okay.
Which items, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, which items and why are they being asked to be deferred?
I think
The items are
the first
K.
one is this, you said the number 7, which is the
Yes.
planning, so we're not making an appointment.
No.
Got it. Okay, that's the first one. The second one, you said tab K.
K as in kite.
Is it the applicant or is it us that's,
I'm asking
Okay.
Mr. Mayor to,
sure. Okay, so that's that one regarding the security firm, when, to the next meeting or in, where are we? Vice Mayor?
until further notice, indefinitely for now. Doesn't mean that it can't come on the 9th, I just want to.
Because the problem is when we keep pushing them, we have like a lengthy agenda, just like this one, which is fine, we're moving this one, but I think you said 2 more, so which one?
Well, there are
M?
3 more. M as in, yes,
M is
Mary.
Okay, North Miami chart, okay, that's the M, and then which one?
R.
I understand, Mayor, that tab M is on the charter amendments. So if that's pulled from tonight's meeting, then you're basically not going to have any charter amendments because this is an ordinance. We only have 2 meetings left. So pulling it tonight means that it just won't go forward.
Oh, won't go forward to that, okay.
I'll certainly support that because I was going to just vote against this. I didn't think there's been enough time of discussion. I don't even know where this came from. Like for major charter changes come out of the blue and just be tossed onto an agenda.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree as well.
Okay, then let's take it off.
All right, that'll be me for.
I was under the impression these were items that we talked about, I know at least for over 2 years. Some of them, at least some of the items.
If you want to leave it on, I'll
No,
leave it
no,
on.
no, no,
I'm
no,
going to
no.
vote no because nobody's talked to me about any of it. Nobody
They
from the
haven't-
charter board, nobody I saw
Well,
on the agenda, and I'm like,
Just so
what is
you
all
know,
this?
nobody has talked to me either.
Mayor, do you want
you
to
know.
discuss these when we get to the items, or do you want to do them all
Right, let's
now?
leave M
No.
on the agenda
Okay.
and I'll just vote no.
Okay.
Right,
I-
I want to clean up the agenda so we
Yes.
know what we're doing.
So, Jeff, if the consensus is that they don't need it, because I'm hearing that they didn't get briefed by
Well, the reason I was
committee?
saying, if you want to, it's one thing to take something off the agenda, but if you're going to have a discussion about, you're actually voting on it and you're not
Oh.
allowing public comment. That's what I'm saying. If you
Oh,
want to.
No, we not, I don't think we're voting, I think we want to
That's what I'm
take it
saying.
off.
So if it's, you're just taking it off, you're just taking it off. But you're going to have comments about why you're taking it off, then you're having
Okay,
a
but-
discussion.
But
and
But
vote.
Yeah.
for the public's edification as well as council, I think we are owed an explanation about why somebody wants to
And that's
move
why I said, do you want to talk about it when the item comes up? Because I can explain how we got here. But that's not really proper if all we're doing is discussing what the agenda is right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we move it to a discussion item, Jeff?
You can do that also.
So it's not something that we vote on per se, but just
That
have a
could be-
discussion
Well,
at
then
the
that
end?
could be, right, at the
At
end.
the end,
but-
okay, that
but
sounds
still-
good.
No, but I
I
still-
would not throw this down at the end. We're not getting out of here till midnight as it is. So if it's 1:30 in the morning and we're starting to talk about charter amendments, I don't think anybody's gonna have an
So I
appetite
think,
for that.
the consensus that I'm getting here is that everyone is ready to table this, so I
So
think we
do
can have
do that?
discussion at
Just
another time.
Leave it, okay. So that's M, but there's also a companion item to that one, which is which one?
There's no
There's
companion.
no
there.
companion.
You just
So
have
which
two
one has
others.
the companion? Is it
No,
M?
R and S.
R and S, they're not companions.
Okay, they not?
They're not companions, no. They're two separate CUPs.
So it would be super helpful if staff, when they're making the recommendation to move items, explains what's going on, because you just was like
Well,
KMRS.
But that's the
That's
point.
why I said
I'm
you shouldn't
sorry,
be
this
doing
is
it.
not,
Madam Vice Mayor, with all absolute due respect to your desires to move all of these items, I'd like
Correct.
to just leave them on the agenda and let's have at it. Anybody who's there in the audience, get ready, it's even gonna be a longer night.
Right, so, no, my motion is to remove all of these items so that we have a clean agenda and then we just move forward. That's my motion.
But I have questions as to why we're moving stuff. So I'm hearing from staff that if I'm gonna vote to just move it off, I can't ask any questions. But I wanna
No,
ask questions.
No, no, wait.
Not about the items, but why we want to move them.
So
We
which
want to
one are we
move-
moving? So-
Councilman, we want to move them because I'm having dental surgery at 8
Okay.
AM, and because of that, I want to get out of
So-
here as early as possible.
I
Oh,
wanna,
okay.
I
Now
wanna
understand
help
why
out.
we're
So
moving.
M,
So,
we got M is
no
off.
worries.
No, Vice Mayor, I got M is off. Which
Okay.
other item? What else do we have that was?
N
what-
as in Nancy is being requested,
is-
but that's being requested by the
by the
applicants.
Because I know there was
Yes.
one doing the briefing.
N as in
Okay,
Nancy?
so N as
Yes.
in Nancy is gone. What about O? That's the complaint, so we cannot, because that was
That
already deferred.
remains.
Okay, the quasi judicial P.
That
that's o-
remains.
That remains.
The next
Q?
one is R.
So what about Q?
Q remains.
Okay, R? What are we doing with R?
I'm asking it for it to be tabled
Until when?
until further notice.
So, now
R.
the issue becomes there's
It's a,
no,
it's an item in my district. I
Yeah.
get-
Right.
I'm not saying I don't want to say until the 9th, and let me talk to administration, let me talk to the
so
applicant.
let
So
me
can
find
we
out because it's
continue
like-
all of these to the next agenda, and then by the
Longer.
next agenda, if you know you don't want them there, then you communicate that to staff?
So this was deferred from the last meeting. So does this, who's the applicant? Are you you represent the applicant? Oh,
So Mayor and Council, I just wanted to address one specific item, item Q, which
Pedro
was
Gas- Pedro Gasson,
yes.
Pedro Gasson of Holland Knight with offices at 701 Brickell Avenue. Thank you for the reminder,
Q is
Councilman. The item Q at the last meeting, Councilman Galvin had requested that it be deferred indefinitely.
It
So
wasn't, it wasn't.
no, this
it
wasn't that one. This
This
is
is-
the
yes.
other one that's a block to the east.
Yes. It's a different one.
17th Avenue. My apologies.
Yes.
You can
Good.
disregard.
I
my,
charge by the hour, so your firm can.
Don't do that,
Hey,
sir.
we-
Next
we
thing
good
you're
with
gonna have a
Q.
public record request.
Okay, so again, are we good with, and I just want to make sure that the clerk has it. So what are we doing with R? We don't
The
know yet?
request, I don't know.
I'm asking to have it tabled
So
until,
can, Ms. Love, this is the applicant here?
So,
I'm sorry.
may I, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor, if we're going to continue an item, we continue it to a specific date. If we're
Yeah.
going to table an item, it is tabled indefinitely. So I think if we would provide clarification as to whether we want to continue it to the next agenda or table it, because table means you may never come back again, it's been tabled.
I want to say that it's been tabled, but I'm not saying I'm never coming back to it. I don't have a specific date.
So you
If I
are-
may,
Go ahead.
Sergio Perinos, 261.
If we're gonna open it up to the developer, we're gonna have to just hear this item and open it to everybody.
Just one point of
I'm
clarification.
sorry,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Councilman,
No.
but if we're gonna open this to you, we need to be prepared to open it to everybody, which defeats the purpose of
This is
continuing the
same
item.
board. So
So,
what, Councilman, one second, let me find
can-
out from Vice Mayor.
If-
So it is in my district. If
Yes.
I would be permitted to please have this table until I can speak to the applicant.
Can we do it for the next one?
No, I'm not saying that because I need to have a
But that's
conversation.
that's the only issue that I have with that because
Okay,
we're
so
going on
I can,
break.
we can have this item and I can just vote no because I have some concerns. It's with the flood. They're asking for extra units. There are conversations that I'd like to have.
Okay, which is fair,
we're
but
gonna
my,
leave R and S on tonight's agenda.
this is, she's saying R. Is R and S are
Companion
the
items.
No, they're not companion
They're not,
items.
that's what
They're
they were
not.
saying.
R is one CUP in one district, S is a different CUP in a different district.
And Mayor, just point of clarification, just understand that these are, tab R and S are quasi judicial. They're also applied for by the applicant. So at some point, we have to hear it.
That's what
And I don't know if that's what the gentleman's about to say, but at some point, we have to hear this because, they're applying for these applications. And this
Are you
has been
getting
deferred.
indication that they're not going to be heard? Is that the indication that you're
No.
getting?
Well, no, but I think that's what the attorney he's about to say is
But
that
I've
it's been
stated
deferred
a
several
couple of
times.
times that I
No,
plan
no,
on
that's all
hearing
right.
it, I just don't have a date. That's the only thing that I said. I stated that clearly several times.
I'm Sergio Perinos, 261.
Miss-
No, no, no,
Mr.
no, so,
yeah.
I'm not
you
an
cannot.
attorney.
I know, I know,
represent the.
Mr. Farino, you can,
I'm
please
ready to
don't.
vote no on
Yeah.
these items tonight as well.
You cannot.
Let's leave them on the
Okay,
agenda.
please
I'm
don't,
voting no
don't.
with you,
Yeah, we got it.
Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, we got it. We're trying to fix it. Yes. Okay. So here we go, Madam Clerk. We are deferring,
Mayor, I'm sorry, if I may, I'm sorry, my,
Yeah, oh, you have another one? Go ahead,
no,
Councilwoman.
I know tab S was in my district.
Are you-
What was the last update on that one? Was it
No,
being
we
deferred?
didn't touch it yet. We are,
Okay, like, I'm okay with the deferral. I didn't hear
I was-
why, but if you wanted to clarify.
no, I was waiting for you. Do you want to, something with S?
Well, I know it's in my district and it was being requested by another, by the vice mayor. Out of respect for her, if she needed more time to meet with the applicant and so forth. I'm okay with that.
Okay, so both, that's what I was gonna ask, if we could move both
We
of
can
them?
table it to the next meeting. Thank you.
You gotta
So
advertise.
tabling, Mr. Attorney, I'm sorry, please correct me if I'm incorrect in my understanding. Tabling means it's put away on a shelf, it's put on a table, it's forgotten about until sometime it may never come back, it may come back 1 week, but continuing an item is continuing it to a date
To a
certain.
date certain, yes.
So if we're continuing any of these items, I'd just like us to say, K continued to next week, M continued to
And
next
that,
week.
that,
Or if
and
it's
that would be
tabled-
preferable, just especially on these quasi judicial, because again, they have to have notice. I mean, there's requirements for these
That's
items to
right.
even make it here,
And
so.
I'm cool if you want to, look, the fewer things we talk about between me and now November 8th, I'm thrilled. But I just want us to have clarity whether or not we want to bring it back on July 9th, our next meeting, or whenever in the future.
Yeah, that was my only, take on it. I don't mind with it, but we have to know when, fair to them, when the item will be heard or whenever the case is. So.
So I'd
I
like to
think-
continue, so
Go ahead, Vice
you want me to
Mayor.
address this?
Yeah, you want.
So for tab R, I'd like to continue it to our first September meeting, possible.
Is it September or August? When is, Councilwoman, is September okay with you also, or you good for the next one?
I'm fine. Well, I thought, she said for R, correct?
Yeah,
Was
no,
that
I'm saying
R?
for your item. Are
Right,
you
no, no,
okay?
they're
but
separate,
that's-
they're
Yes,
separate,
no,
they're
that's what I'm
separate,
saying. I'm
they're
asking her if she's okay with your,
Right.
yours
Yeah, I'm
moving.
okay.
Okay, so next one could be hers, and we could move hers for the next meeting.
To the next meeting.
July, but R is
July
being
9.
moved until when?
September.
September.
Okay.
September 10th.
There are
I'm looking
two,
at the
September 10th, or
September 10th.
there are two
September 10th.
September
The first
meetings?
September.
The first
Okay.
one. This is a lengthy agenda, and it's going to be,
So may I ask for clarification?
S is moved to July 9th.
yes.
Thank you.
And then R is moved
To
to
September,
September,
the first September meeting.
correct.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna restate all of this in one motion if I'm allowed to, but
And
what
then the
about
clerk?
K, M, and N? Are we continuing them?
So K table to September, continue to September, M tabled.
K to September 10th, M tabled indefinitely,
Yes.
and N is in Nancy?
Was pulled by the applicant.
Okay. So if I might, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion.
Wait.
I'll
let me
make a
s- let me- Let me
motion.
see if the clerk has
Okay.
it. What do
Okay.
you have, Madam Clerk?
The first clarification I need is whether we're also pulling tab P in conjunction with N.
No, I don't think,
You know, P,
Okay.
separate.
So I have a motion to table tab M indefinitely. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. I have a motion to continue tabs K and R to the first regular council meeting in September. Is there a second?
Second for September the 10th, because we'll also have budget meetings that month. I don't want anybody saying, well, that's.
Yeah, the first regular council meeting is,
September the 10th.
right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
This
And
is
then I have a
which one?
motion-
I'm sorry, which item was that?
That was tabs K and R.
Okay. Got it.
And then a motion to continue tab S to the first regular council meeting in July, July 9th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you for your patience with me, everybody.
Okay, now, all right. Huh? You want to do that, Mr. Attorney?
So for anyone who's here who signed the cards for tab S, it's not going to be heard tonight. So that's at the end of the meeting. We just don't want you to wait till the end of the meeting to hear for it, but
So you
it's
don't
not
have
going to
to
be heard
stay?
tonight.
Awesome. Yeah. That's the 136, that's the Northeast Fourth Avenue, okay, got it, perfect, okay. Mr. Attorney, is the agenda set?
Yes, Mayor, and one thing I just have to mention, just to put on the record, Councilwoman Timothy is attending
Yeah,
remotely. I've already given her an opinion that as long as we have quorum in the building, that she can,
Yes.
under her circumstances, appear electronically.
Yeah, we see her.
And your agenda is set. Your agenda is set. You may proceed, sir.
Thank you so much. Okay, we do have a long night, and we are going to just go ahead and get started. We'll wait for everyone to exit the. Awesome, thank you. No. July 9th. Yeah, 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. It's like next week. It's going by so fast. It's like, oh my God. It's like the next
You know
day.
what's not going by fast? Tonight's meeting.
Well, in 2 hours, it's gonna go by fast. It's gonna be 10 o'clock, 9:30. Okay. Again, we are here. On other notes, as we are waiting, I think we're good. Okay. So special presentation. We're gonna have July is Parks and Recreation. We're gonna have a special proclamation recognizing Parks and Rec, and we have a very, very special presentation for our Public Works, but that's gonna be done by our city manager, and we have a special, very, very dedication to our one and only, but we're gonna wait and have Vice Mayor Estime Irving do all the honoree of this one, and then we have a certificate also by, that's gonna recognize the North Miami Youth Council. So, guys, let's go down and let's do this. Okay.
I'll be down momentarily.
Is Christine here? Okay, come on up. One of my favorite, the entire Parks and Rec team in the house, one of my favorite department, which is where it all started with parks. I started actually in the city of North Miami when I was 16, working at Parks and Rec while I was at North Miami Senior High School. And I started working as an intern and remained with the city for a couple years until I was finished with college. So this is a proclamation in honor of course, June, as we all know, is July, is Parks and Recreation Month in the great city of North Miami, and this is the National Parks and Recreation Month. So whereas, it's a couple of whereas, I'm not gonna read all of the whereas, which I know Scott is already saying it's gonna be a long meeting, so we're gonna make it shorter. So whereas Parks and Recreation is an integral part of the community throughout the country, including, of course, here at home in the city of North Miami, and whereas Parks and Recreation promotes healthy and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people nearby, and whereas Parks and Recreation increases community economics, prosperity through increased property values, expansion of local tax base, and whereas Parks and Recreation is the fundamental to the environment well-being of a community, and whereas Park and Recreation is essential in adopting infrastructure that make our community more resilient and make our community face natural disaster even more climate change resilient. And whereas parks are natural resources in our ecosystem and beauty for our community, and provide places for our children and adults to connect with nature and reconnect with outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, and whereas the city of North Miami recognizes the benefit that derives from Parks and Rec and its resources. Now, therefore, in consideration of the foregoing, I, Mayor Alex DeSome, Vice Mayor Mary Estime Irving, Councilman Scott Galvin, Councilwoman Cassandra Timothy, Councilman Pierre Franz Charles, on behalf of the residents, I do hereby proclaim Tuesday, June 25th, 2024, to be National Parks and Recreation Month in the great city of North Miami, and do hereby all of us to proclaim. Just a few words. Yes, no, yes.
Thank you. So this year's theme is who we are. So it falls a lot into not just for us as Parks and Rec professionals, but for you guys as well in the community. A lot of things happen within our parks, and you guys are integral parts of that. So along with all the whereases that were here, we truly enjoy serving the community of North Miami, both the residents, visitors, to make sure that you guys have a good time when you do come to our centers, to our facilities, and to the city.
The funny thing is, I've been here for 10 years. I've yet to see any of these pictures. every other Tuesday. And now this is one of our this is one of our favorite, definitely one of my favorite special recognition. As elected official, we do take pride in giving out proclamations, but this is a special, very, very special one. And I'm gonna call my vice mayor to come and do the honor of presenting this special proclamation, which we are very, very honored to have the one and only, the personality of the year in the house with us. I call her Miss Miami. Come on, Vice Mayor, as we are honoring her own day in the great city of North Miami, Super Cindy. Yes.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. This is Vice Mayor Mary Estime Irvin, and it's a pleasure for me to be the one to read into our record the proclamation that we're giving today to no other than Super Cindy. So if you were in the last council meeting, we give it to our counterpart, and today we're giving it to you, but Cindy, Super Cindy Dorset, right? Doucet. Whereas Super Cindy was born and raised in North Miami and attended Ben Franklin and St. James School and continued to impact her community positively, with her father still residing in the house she was raised on 129th Street and 8th Avenue. Whereas Cindy, an acclaimed radio host and media personality, has been a dynamic force in South Florida. She is known for her electrifying presence, charismatic nature, steadfast principle, commitment to the community, and service. And whereas Super Cindy, the Queen of Miami Radio, brightens the airways of a 99 Jam weekday morning on the Pac Jam Morning Show. And whereas she has an entrepreneurial spirit, led her to launch the Cindy Media in 2016, a versatile enterprise encompassing music, TV, film, digital media sector. And whereas Cindy accolades include joining the Record Academy class of 2022 Grammy member, being named Miami New Time Best Radio Personality of the Year, receiving a key to the city of North Miami Beach in 2022. And whereas Cindy was most recently honored with proclamation from Miami Gardens by Mayor Rodney, but we're doing it today, right? So now, therefore, Mayor Alex Dezume of the City of North Miami, alongside with Vice Mayor Mary Estime Irvin, Councilman Scott Galvin, Councilwoman Cassandra Timothy, Councilman Pierre Franch Charles, do whereby proclaim January 25th, 2004 as Super Cindy Day 2024, excuse me. I'm so sorry, 2024 as Super Cindy Day in the city of North Miami, and urge all residents to join in recognizing and celebrating Super Cindy. Come on up. Thank you so much.
I was here a few weeks ago at the last meeting because I had tried to get DJ Lucky C, the North Miami Monster, a key, a proclamation, and it happened, and I had no idea that a week or two later you guys were gonna call me. But like Vice Mayor just said, I grew up in North Miami, Ben Franklin, St. James, and just, I mean, at this point I have 4 keys. This is my 4th key: Miami-Dade, Miami Gardens, North Miami Beach. But this one just feels different because this is where I was born and raised. My dad still lives in the same house, like they said, and North Miami is in my blood. So I just appreciate everyone who has supported me throughout the years on the radio station 99 Jams. I resigned 2 weeks ago, so I'm no longer on the radio, but I am definitely dedicated to my nonprofit Super Friends and my new talk show that I'm launching. You're gonna be seeing me a lot. You probably might get sick of me, but please don't. I love you guys. And thank you so much, North Miami. I truly love you. Thank you. And thank you to my family, my sister Denise, my brother-in-law Ro, my cousin Marjorie, my cameraman Isaac, my brother, and just thank you, Chief Gauss. Since you were at another district, we handed out turkeys together, and that's how I met you, and we have been in the community together. So now that you're in North Miami, it continues. I love you.
And not, and now, not but not least, we are going to honor our North Miami Youth Council. Angelique, you all right? And we're gonna have Vice Mayor again, as she spearhead this effort to come up and honor these young leaders.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. I mean, this is, this is one of my greatest joy. A couple of years ago, Mayor and Council passed an ordinance, and if we can get some silence. So again, a couple of years ago, Mayor and Council passed an ordinance to have our youth council in the city of North Miami. So I want to again thank my colleague again for that support. And this is, I believe, our second class that has already termed out or finished their tenure here with our youth council. So I'm just very excited today. So again, good evening, everyone. I am honored to recognize the distinguished member of our North Miami Youth Council. The North Miami Youth Council offers young, emerging leaders the opportunity to gain insights into local operation. Their goal is to advocate for the youth in our city, striving to enhance youth relations, activities, and programs with North Miami. Tonight, we honor the members of their dedication and service. So Joshua Johnson was appointed by Mayor Alex Desume. Carly Charmot was appointed by Councilman Galvin. Haley Rudman was appointed by Councilman Galvin. Estacy Cotier, appointed by Councilwoman Timothy. Angelina Fleurmet was appointed by Vice Mayor. Marlene Apollon was appointed by Councilman Charles. We have Azara Charles Filosant was appointed by Mark Clerk, Vanessa Joseph. Hillary Stacy Alcenat was appointed by our city attorney, Jeff Cazot. And Justin Cotier was appointed by the city manager. I would like to extend a special recognition to the 4 of these members who have completed their terms and serve an impressive 2 consecutive years on the Youth Council. Their sustainment and commitment is truly commendable. So we'll start with Angelina Fleurimier, if you can come up. Hillary Alcena by Jeff Cazot. Mr. Attorney, if you would come. It's a certificate by me. And Mr. Attorney, that give her, thank you. Stand by your youth. Carly Charmot by Councilman Galvin. Is Carly here? And Justin Coutier. Thank you so much for your service. Estacy Coutier. Thank you. And that's it? Okay. And do they have a medal? Oh, no. Okay. And these are our young people. They're doing amazing things. They're getting to learn a lot. You should watch their meetings. They meet on every 3rd Tuesday of the month, and they sometimes run their meeting better than us. And they do. They do. So I'm just very proud of you. I know that in the future we're going to see you doing great things, and maybe we'll see you up here. But thank you for your service. Thank you what you've done, what you've contributed to the Youth Council, and continue to strive for the stars.
is a bad photo.
Oh, I know, it's like, I'm so hungry, so much. You know, before we get started with announcement, I do have a special, is that me getting the feedback? I think because we have the online. Okay, now it's gone. I wanted to make a special presentation. Chief, if you have the folks from COPS who are here, I just want to say thank you so much. We are delighted to welcome the members. We have the COPS folks who are here with us, which is COPS, the Collaborating Reform Initiative to our great city. Mr. McHale, is he here? We want to say thank you to you and your entire team. Please stand up and be recognized. They are here, guys, on behalf of the entire City Council and our residents. We want to say thank you to you. The incredible work that you guys are doing to help us, reshape. We are grateful for the support and the amazing work that you guys are doing conducting, the organization assessment for the North Miami Police Department. We are truly, truly honored and so grateful that you guys are here. Thank you so much for helping us out. Thank you. Guys, I think we are ready for the regular announcements. Still not an agenda.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, North Miami neighbors, and guests. My name is Savannah Dre Smith, and I'm presenting the following announcements on behalf of the City of North Miami. Tonight's announcements are long, so I'll try to be fast. The North Miami Public Library presents a monthly gardening workshop led by Jedion Bottles, University of Florida Master Gardener. These workshops are free and open to the public and take place every first Saturday of the month. The North Miami Police Department cordially invites you to the swearing-in ceremony taking place at the Scott Galvin Community Center on Wednesday, June 26 at 1 p.m. The Breeze Sweat Pump Station Public Information Meeting is scheduled to take place on Thursday, June 27th at 6:30 p.m. right here in the Council Chambers of North Miami City Hall. Share feedback, ask questions, and understand the community benefits and impact of the upcoming project. Your opinion matters. Please submit your comments to the City of North Miami at housing@northmiamifl.gov or in writing to the Housing and Social Services Director, Mrs. Albert Brazil, at 12300 Northeast 8th Avenue, North Miami, Florida 33161. The North Miami Public Library and Friends of the North Miami Public Library present 2024 Literary Lunch and Learn Book Talk Series. The series is scheduled to take place every third Friday of the month at 12 p.m. For more information, please contact the library at 305-891-5535. Enjoy fun-filled days of indoor and outdoor activities, swimming, and arts and crafts at the 2024 Kids Summer Camp. The camp hours are Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, please call 305-895-9840. Adventure begins at your library. Children's programming occurs every Tuesday at 10 a.m. from June 11th until July 12th at the North Miami Public Library. Curious about how you could seal or expunge your Miami-Dade arrest? Join the North Miami Police Department and Office of State Attorney Catherine Fernandez-Rondo at the Joe Celestine Center on Thursday, June 27th from 4 to 7 p.m. to get your questions answered. Your government-issued identification is required. This month's Jazz at Mocha will take place on Friday, June 28th, featuring Samambia. Seating starts at 7 p.m. with the concert beginning at 8. Join Councilman Galvin in celebrating the 55th anniversary of the Stonewall Rebellion on Saturday, June 29th at the Lunar Star Cafe, 775 Northeast 125th Street. Let's come together in this apt location to mark the anniversary of the LGBTQ uprising in New York. This event is free and open to the public. Calling all mini makers. The July Mocha Mini Makers is inspired by Manuel Matthew and is scheduled for July 2nd, 2024 from 2 to 4 p.m. Participants will be able to get an insider experience into the museum's exhibition, Manuel Matthew, World Discovered Under Other Skies. Independence Day Celebration by the Bay. Come one, come all on Thursday, July 4th, 2024 to the FIU Biscayne Bay campus for fireworks, food trucks, karaoke, and more. Sunday Stories. Summer is here. Everyone can participate in this colorful workshop taking place July 7th from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Join Mocha as we celebrate summer by reading Summer is Here by Renee Watson, illustrated by Bea Jackson. Then we'll create our own magical bubble paintings. The North Miami Public Library and Miami-Dade Fire Rescue present Health Emergency Life Protection Training Course, or HELP. This course will take place on Tuesday, July 9, 2024, beginning at 3 p.m. Please call the North Miami Public Library at 305-891-5553 to register. The North Miami Public Library and Molding Messengers presents Family Fun Day and Book Fair. Join us for a fun-filled day on Saturday, July 13th, 2024, where the winners of the 2024 Summer Reading Challenge will be announced with special guest appearances by Bluey, Spider-Man, and Stitch. Councilman Pierre-Fonce Charles would like to cordially invite you to the grand opening of the District 4 Satellite Office, taking place Saturday, July 13, 2024, from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. at 13753 Northwest 7th Avenue, North Miami, Florida, 33168. This event will provide free food, music, bounce houses, and resources. It's that time of year again, the 14th annual Backpack and School Supply Donation Drive. Donations will be collected until Monday, July 29th. Examples of supplies needed are backpacks, pencils, and pencil cases. Happening Saturday, July 27th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. is the District 4 Food Distribution. This walkthrough presented by the City of North Miami and MJD Wellness will take place at the Joe Celestine Center, 1525 Northwest 135th Street. For more information, please call 305-705-2781. Attention all teenagers between the ages of 15 to 18. The North Miami Youth Council is now accepting applications for the 2024-2025 year. Apply online at www.northmiamifl.gov/youthcouncil. Please submit by Wednesday, August 21st, 2024 by 5 p.m. To stay up to date with NOMI news and events, log on to North Miami's website at www.northmiamifl.gov. Click on Connect with NOMI on the homepage to sign up for the city's newsletters. Also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at North Miami FL and on Twitter at NOMI News. This concludes the city announcements.
Thank you so much, Savannah. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Consent agenda.
Consent agenda. Unless a member of the City Council wishes to remove a specific item from this portion of the agenda, tabs A through F constitute the consent agenda. These resolutions and items are self-explanatory and are not expected to require additional review or discussion. These items will be recorded as individually numbered resolutions adopted unanimously by the following motion: that the consent agenda comprised of tabs A through F be adopted.
Move approval?
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the consent agenda tabs A through F. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Estime Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Tab G, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, approving fiscal year 2024-2025 annual action plan under the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, and Home Investment Partnerships Program, Home Programs, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab G.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Tab G is any presentation before we open it up?
Yes, Mayor and Council, I do believe that our Director of Housing and Social Services is present to make her presentation.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Albert Bazil, Housing and Social Services Director. Lunia. There we go. This is the time of the year again. Mr. Mayor, thank you for sharing with me the letter of the allocation that we received from HUD.
Yeah, I thought it was more the way they made it sound like, but you said it's the same amount for the past few years.
It's actually less.
Oh, Jesus. Are you serious?
Sorry.
Oh, my God.
as required by HUD, every year, we prepare our 5-year consolidated plan, but for each of those 5 years, we need to come to you and present our actual annual action plan for the fiscal year, for the allocation that we receive for that period. Just a quick refresher for you. Back in 2020, we conducted our annual, we drafted our 5-year consolidated plan, and it's a requirement for all HUD grantee who receive CDBG and home programs funding. The city is required to prepare a 5-year consolidated plan, fiscal year 2020-2024. Actually, this is the last year. So next year, I'm coming back to you for a new consolidated plan that will cover 2025-2029. The consolidated plan include all the community needs priority that was surveyed at that time back in 2020 and that you approved and was forwarded to HUD for approval. Through the 5 years, we come to you with all the project that the city allocate the money to, but all of them are related, are in compliance with all the need and priorities identified during that consolidated plan. The annual plan, as indicated, this is year 5 of our consolidated plan. We receive Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Home Investment Partnership, HOME. For every year of the consolidated plan, HUD required that we prepare an annual action plan. The annual action plan identifies strategic projects and output for the use of the annual HUD allocation. Projects included in this annual action plan are implemented in line with the needs, priorities, and goals of the city as identified in the consolidated plan. If at any time we want to change anything in the consolidated plan, I think at this point we're all aware that we need to do an amendment to the consolidated plan. CDBG and home funds, as required, as suggested by HUD, must or may be leveraged by private investment, state, local funds, county funds, and city general funds, if any. The past 5 years consolidated plan 2020-2024 priorities, in the order that I have on the screen, what comes on top was economic development, owner-occupied rehabilitation, affordable rental housing building, increased public services, improving public facilities, and homeless prevention. That was the order that those needs and priority came back in 2020-24. We cannot come here and make a decision, this is how we're gonna allocate the money. It is a requirement that we have a citizen participation strategy. We have a citizen participation plan that the council approved years ago. It is required that we conduct public workshop where we inform the public how we're gonna allocate the money or what we're gonna do with the money. That happened back in April 24th in this council chambers. The city, the Housing and Social Services Department, along with the services, our consultant, sent out survey to our partner, to city department, and we had some consultation with agency to find out where we at in our needs, in our priority, especially coming out of COVID. The annual action plan was then taken to the Planning Commission, who recommended approval to City Council. As required again by HUD, we had to have a 30 days commenting period. We just closed last week on June 18th. And this process was open to everybody and accommodated people with disability. For fiscal year 2024-2025, you have on the board what we will be receiving from HUD. On the home, we're gonna receive 289,000 plus. And under CDBG, we're gonna receive 779 plus. And in all of them, I think the severe hit is in home where it's a minus 60,000.
Oh.
As opposed to CDBG, where it's only 10,000. This is the 5th year of the plan. Actual appropriation from HUD is in the next page. As recommended by the department, presented to the planning commission. You have the numbers in front of you. We can always come back to it after that. And at this point, this concludes my presentation, and I'm open for question, if any.
Okay, so this is just a presentation in terms of, you just want us to vote on it, not necessarily nothing in terms of action from the public. This is just,
This meeting it's a second required public hearing per HOD. We need to have 2 public hearings. The planning commission is considered as the first one, where the public can come and give their opinion.
so,
The second one is this one, but you are the final approver.
so would this had to be on this, or this had to be on the report? Do we need to vote on this? or-
Yeah,
Oh, we
yes,
do?
sir.
Okay,
Yes,
that's what
sir.
I'm- Okay, so public hearing is open on the item. Public hearing is open on tab G. Public hearing is open on the item. Seeing none coming, public hearing is closed. Move for approval.
Second. Oh,
Yeah, I have.
You have a
a-
question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a few questions. I know this is a presentation on the action plan and everything. There are like, one of them I don't see it in here, so I don't know if I can talk about it, which is the first time home buyer program, so it is not there. Since we are, revising the action plan, do you have any recommendation into what should be done so that we can at least start having people qualify for the first time home buyer program? Because I know because of the bracket that they have now, you cannot find any house in North Miami at that price. And then basically the program is sitting in here, and then we really, I don't know if from last time we talked about it, not too many of our residents can take advantage of it.
That is correct, Councilman. Actually, you're right. I didn't have any set aside for the first-time home buyer. Nothing has changed from last year. The set-asides that we have under the home program as well as the state program are still sitting here. And normally, we have between 7 to 8 years to spend that money. At any point of time, if we cannot spend those allocations, I'm gonna have to come back to you and request permission to reallocate them. That's the first part of the question. So I didn't allocate because we have close to 282,000 set aside sitting here to be spent. So now, what are we doing to facilitate? I need to commend Councilwoman Cassandra. We've been trying to push it at the library. I think once every month we have a home buyer class to educate the people how to apply, how to get prepared for their purchase if so desired. But as you mentioned, the prices are so high in North Miami. What will work best for our residents is for them to shift their desire to condo, which is cheaper, townhome. But when it comes to home, we go all the way to 400,000 plus now in terms of prices, but they still cannot find a home in that bracket. And also, are they qualified to receive the money under this program? So what we are doing, it's really continuing to educate them, but it's one thing to educate them. The second one is, are they qualified? Can they purchase this home?
Thank you, and thank you very much, Director, for that clarification was needed. My other point is that one thing that we are seeing going into our city is homelessness. We have a lot of folks sleeping in our parks, almost every corner, even just right there, Mocha, see them sometime late at night. So into that revised plan, do we have anything that would better address, because I know we don't have, the answer is almost, we don't have units available, so any effort that we're doing in this regard to see if we can help alleviate that problem.
First
Go ahead.
First of all, I need to kind of rectify what you just said. We're not
Yeah.
revising. We have a new plan, a new
Okay.
5-year plan is coming next year.
Thank you.
So what are we doing to better assess the needs of
Mhm.
the community? I'm gonna need your help. I'm gonna need the help of the community because we have to go back to the drawing board. We have to send out survey. We have to go do like radio advertisement workshop to really assess the needs and the priorities. Because as it stands right now, in 2020, homelessness was not a priority.
No.
It came like the last one on our list.
Yes, Councilman, we experienced some of it that came into the office, but we work with some, like we were able to directly, with social service. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 families that, and a lot of it was not even in our area. But I think some of the issues, because of Casamia, the folks that are near the park, like they go into Griffin Park, that's there, but they're not necessarily residents. So that's one of the things that I think our county have done a phenomenal job in terms of other county. When you look at the rate of homelessness, obviously it's a problem in the entire country because of rent price. But Miami-Dade has done a tremendous job. When you go everywhere, other big cities, we have gotten it right. And even in the state of Florida, they're looking at the model that we've used. Because when the folks come here, especially in North Miami, we do have a special relationship with those folks, especially with Casamia and those folks. So if they are, and we work very well with the police department, with stuff, we would, make sure that we kind of transition them there. And if it's something that's longer, we'll get them to our social service departments, and, housing probably would step in if it's a longer term. But yeah, the other issues that we had was folks were sleeping it was in cars, but it was neighbors, like their family.
I will add to that, Councilman. What we did, we just hired an assistant to the Housing and Social Services Department. One of the mission now, it's really, since the mayor just mentioned, they just cut our help. It's gonna continue, they're gonna continue to cut it. So what we're trying to do right now is to go out there. So we got some other grants. Those grants that we are presenting tonight, those are formula grants. So they come to us. I will not say we don't have to apply, but it's based on our population, our level of poverty, and so forth. So now what we are doing right now, and are trying to push big on that one, it's to go out there. And there are money out there, but we need to have someone who knows the system, who are used with the continuum of care, with homeless trust, where those grants are, and apply for them.
No, just a point of clarification. I'm not saying this just to criticize. It is something that we see, and while we're working on a 5-year plan, we need to address it, because as a city, we need to work 5 years, 10 years from now. We need to look at it. The trend is not going down due to inflation. It is going up. That's why I wanted to ask you that question, so that at least we have an idea of where we're moving and what we're doing. So that was basically my entire point of asking the second question. To that, I'll say thank you very much, and thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
While we're talking about homelessness, I just want to, and I'm very appreciative that you're looking and talking about this item. It's not just one of homelessness. Sometimes, and you're probably aware of this, is an issue of poverty. In my district, specifically on 135th Street and Biscayne Boulevard, I get a lot of complaints about homeless people soliciting and asking for money at the Starbucks and in that plaza in there, and at the corner of Biscayne and 135th. I happen to know several of the guys. They're not homeless. They actually live in the trailer park in North Miami Beach and or other apartment facilities nearby. So they give the appearance of being homeless. They are poor, they are dirty, but in their case, they can't be run off because they're homeless. And thank you to NMPD. I know they have to respond to that shopping plaza a lot, Keystone Shopping Plaza, on homeless issues. Sometimes they're not homeless. They actually have homes and live in the area. They're just poor.
And I agree. To piggyback to what you said, Councilman, we have a new category of homeless that we are not even aware, because they're not talking, they're not saying anything. They are sleeping in their cars.
Yeah.
They are sleeping on other people's couch. They are taking their shower at, so Those are new things
Yeah.
that we didn't have in 2020.
No.
Those are new stuff with COVID that is coming out. So we need, as they're coming, as we are gathering the data, we are trying to see how we can do what we can do to assist.
If I may add one layer to that, Mr. Mayor, is that the amount of people that we have come into the Biden, quote unquote, Biden program also, that is something that we need to watch over because it's creating some problem. A lot of them, they just dump them in here. They have no place to go. They're going around soliciting and everything. So those are things that we need to work and plan and as we're working on this. So that's the reason why I just want to add it so that at least we look at a broader spectrum.
We are all aware.
Well,
Mayor, I just have
yes,
two questions.
yes, go ahead.
Oh, me, okay. Madam Bazile, for the emergency elderly repairs, I know you have $80,000 allocated for that one. Was that increased? Is that enough? Do we normally typically use all 80,000 for the emergency elder repairs?
It's never enough, Councilwoman. This 80,000 can only assist, I will say, 9 people with an average of $9,000. The only thing that you can do here is to get some from the rehab. That's the only area because you have your 20% for program administration, you have your set aside for public services. If really we want to really assist the elderly, increase the number from 9 to whatever you guys desire, the only area, the only place you can go and get some more funding will be in the housing rehabilitation. I don't know, Dunya,
Yeah,
if you can put the screen.
Let me ask you
And
this.
then my
Go ahead,
and my
go ahead.
last question was, does our allocation trigger for the AHAC to meet?
This one, no. It's CDBG and home. The ship is separate.
Okay.
On the same line of question, I know that part of the allocations, many years ago, Maria and we had went to DC to HUD. I guess the following year, I think this was the last year before the Obama administration went, it kind of made an impact. So we may need to do something similar, hopefully. But with the emergency fund that you have, is it possible you could include or set up a fund for fire hazard or that type of emergency that
No.
we had? Okay.
It's not eligible under HUD,
So
under this
how,
program.
how can we set up something similar to that? You know where I'm coming from with that.
So that's gonna be in the upcoming budget if you
We
want
need to
to
talk
give
about that.
instruction to get something from
Oh,
the
God.
general funds.
And Lord knows, okay. All right, so, okay, thank you. That is something that we have to seriously look at. There's especially with a couple of the seniors, a couple years ago, we had this issue, a resident, and we had them, they're a fire hazard, and you would assume everyone, hey, it's a fire, we feel bad for them, and we say, hey, call your insurance. Well, a lot of these older people in our community, they paid off their homes and they cannot afford insurance. So a couple of times the city had to end up coming in and really doing some work. People don't know the work that we do here, but we had to do some stuff. And those money would never, I know people like to talk about, oh yeah, they party, they do all this, but they never, and they don't know the amount of work. In fact, we have a case right now, we don't even know where the money's coming from. And this is their only home. This is the only home these folks had. And I think when you went and did the assessment, I was hoping, I was praying that Albert would come back and say, maybe this was a $10,000 repair. I think it's probably, everything is damaged.
Even the structure.
Oh, Jesus. So we just praying and we don't know. And so, we just have to be mindful of that. Okay, thank you so much. I think it's been moved.
I have
It's
a motion.
closed.
I have a motion made by
I think I opened it and I closed it, right? Yes.
I have a motion made by Mayor Desilme to approve the item at tab G. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The item passes with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Tab H, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, selecting Forerunner Industries, Inc. as the vendor to provide a floodplain management software platform, waiving competitive bidding in accordance with Section 7-120, capital B of the North Miami Code of Ordinances, further authorizing the interim city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement between the city of North Miami and the selected vendor in an amount not to exceed $175,998.03 for a 5-year term, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab H.
Thank you so much. Mr. Estrada, you have a presentation for us?
Well, just briefly, good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, Alberto Estrada, Purchasing Director. So the purpose of the item before you is to request your authority to enter into an agreement with the firm Forerunner Industries Incorporated. They will provide the city with a floodplain management software platform. The purpose of this floodplain management software platform is to comply with the guidelines and requirements that are established by the National Flood Insurance Program, and also to participate in the community rating system, which the city of North Miami participates. And such a program would benefit greatly, the city would benefit greatly from having flood insurance premium rates discounted to residents and also to businesses throughout our community. That's essentially what's before you. It's a 5-year license term with this company, with Forerunner. This contract is being recommended by the Development Services Department. Ms. Debbie Love is here in support of this item. And also we have a representative from Forerunner, Ms. Sophia Clavel, who is sitting in the audience in the event that you have any questions. So that's staff's recommendation before you.
Thank you so much, sir. The item is open for discussion to the public. Seeing none, close. Sure.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Sure. This is a bid waiver?
Yes, it is.
And what's the reason for the bid?
Well, perhaps I'll let Ms. Debbie Love speak to that. It's a recommendation from their department, and I believe the recommendation has to do with, these are very sort of specialized services.
Right, that's what
There are not too many firms that actually participate and are able to provide this, and in fact, Forerunner is also partnering with the state of Florida's Department of Emergency Management Services, and they provide similar services to state, but I'll allow Ms. Debbie Love to maybe expand on that.
Sure, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, Debbie Love, Development Services. We explored various software tools because there's only 3 on the market that essentially, the first 2 doesn't do what we really need to do. It provides a tool for mapping the floodplain to go to see what your flood zone is. What we needed is a tool that's a more expansive tool, and this is the only company that does this. Mm-hmm. It's, I don't know how many of you recall all of the damage that happened in Lee County during the last hurricane. Mm-hmm. Part of the problem that came out, they could no longer participate in the NFIP program because they failed in maintaining their proper protocols. They didn't keep the tracking done, which is really a critical piece of this. So this tool, we explored all the 3 tools that are available. This is the only tool that does what we actually needed to do.
Just wanted to understand that. Thank you.
Mayor, I had a couple of questions as well
Sure.
with this one.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Since it's floodplain management, is this one for the public or for staff? Ms. Love, you mentioned they can see what flood zone that they're in.
That's a part of it, but it's primarily for staff usage so that we can make sure that things are tracked. We use it to track substantial improvements. We provide information to the public from this tool. So we do have we do have a dashboard, but this is usually used just the way that we're buying it is for staff to be able to utilize it to make sure we stay in compliance.
Okay,
Because-
yeah, just especially with the flood event that we just had this past couple of days.
Yes, ma'am.
Want to make sure that we do share that information as we're doing our floodplain outreach for our CRX rating system in the city.
Yes, ma'am, and thank you for asking that question. It's really important. We do have that link to the FEMA mapping system, where you can go directly there as a member of the public and view your flood zone as well. And we do have staff that are available to answer any of those type of questions as well.
What's our rating system right now? I'm sorry.
I believe we are at a 6, and we are definitely trying to get down lower. The lower you go, we get a 20% discount currently. So we're striving to reduce that even further by doing different activities throughout the year, including things like this piece of software.
So,
Okay, thank you.
may I, Mr.
Sure,
Mayor?
yes, yes.
So I just wanted, so this, will buying the software lower? What are the next step to lower the rating?
It's a lot of different activities. We track all these, and we are coming up with new activities that are allowed under this. So the more activities we undertake, documentation, this particular tool is really, really important for substantial improvement tracking. That is where Lee County failed, and many of the communities are buying this software because of that. That's a critical piece. That's actually points for the CRS program. So that's one purpose for that, but primarily it really is we do everything manually, and we need to automate and make it more efficient and quicker to get these determinations. That answer everybody's questions?
I believe so. Councilwoman, you good?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
I'm fine.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Charles to approve the item at tab H. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The item passes with a 5-0 vote.
On page 3 of 7.
Tab I, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the interim city manager to issue purchase orders to Allied Universal Corporation for a 1-year term in the aggregate amount not to exceed $106,500 for the purchase and delivery of liquid sodium hypochlorite for the Winson Water Treatment Plant, utilizing Peace River, Minnesota Regional Water Supply Authority's contract, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab I.
Thank you so much. Top I, before we open it to the public, Jeff, any discussion? No? Okay. Public hearing is open on the item. Public hearing is closed on the item. Are you here for that item, sir?
Mr. Mayor, I apologize.
No problem.
I am late and
No problem, sir.
we're talking about the water and sewer, and I want to talk about the sewer. I was waiting for citizen forum.
Yes, it's at the end.
Is that the end?
It's a long meeting. Though- yes, sir.
This item on the sewer, it definitely have to do with the sewer.
Okay, you can talk about it. You have 2 minutes. Yes,
2
sir.
minutes, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks.
This has to do with the water.
I know.
Yeah, water and sewer. Castus McKnight, President for McKnight Auto Repair
sir.
Corp., dealer and auto repair facility.
Yes, sir.
I'm also, I believe, an essential worker authorized by the President of the United States of America to secure and stabilize U.S. economy. On the last flash flood that came through, it was on North Miami Avenue. A customer who called me who break down, and my truck was floating. You know, it's a heavy-duty truck. It was floating in the water, and this is on North Miami Avenue. My thing is that I would like the city, with the water and sewer department, to establish the flood area of these, the flood zone in this area, and have those citizens put drain field on their property, a drain on their property, 6-inch, 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 tied into a 6-inch with a P-trap, and tap into the sewer. If the sewer cannot maintain that capacity, I am requesting that the city drill, 15 feet in diameter, go 5 miles down into the earth, to create a holding system for water, and the drain field for the that tap into the sewer. This must only be sewer, not septic.
Okay.
Only sewer, and into the sewer, and it don't require electricity. So if you have a hurricane, it will flow. For citizens who can afford to buy a sprinkler pump, 1.5 inlet and outlet, they can put a float switch on it and pump into the sewer. Of course, it must be properly filtered. And I think that will eliminate some of the flash flood.
Okay.
You know, and that's all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. He came here, Jeff, to give you some good advice. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. McKnight. We appreciate that on the topic. Public hearing is closed on the items. Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Mayor Desilme to approve the item at tab I. The motion was seconded by Councilman Charles. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The item passes with a 5-0 vote. Tab J, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing a second amendment to the professional services agreement between the City of North Miami and ACOM Technical Services, Inc. for additional professional engineering services for the completion of on-call hydraulic modeling services for the assessment of the impact of planned developments on the existing sewer system in an amount not to exceed $95,985 pursuant to request for qualifications number 08-17-18, continuing professional, architectural, and engineering services for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab J.
Thank you, Tab J. Anything? We good? Okay.
Well,
Seems like we're good. I mean, it's self-explanatory.
You're right, it's a request to approve an amendment
Yeah,
to the
hydraulic
existing
model.
contract.
Public hearing
Move-
is open? Good, I know. It's closed.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab J. The motion was seconded by Councilman Charles. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Tab L, a proposed second reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending the city's 2015 comprehensive plan by adopting the 2022 evaluation and appraisal review parentheses, ear-based comprehensive plan amendments, providing for transmittal, repeal, conflict, severability, correction of scrivener's errors, codification, and for an effective date. Tab L.
Good evening. Again, for the record, Debbie Love, Development Services. I just want to say, woo-hoo, we are getting ready to do the second reading of our comprehensive plan. Woohoo! It's very exciting. Our consultant here is to give you a little brief update on the changes that came back from the state and the minor changes that we're making tonight. One good thing is they had absolutely no objections. They just had some comments and had us address things from the other agencies. And may I introduce, as you probably remember, Sylvia Vargas with Calvin Giordano. Ms. Vargas, it's all yours.
Hey, Sylvia, if you can, real brief.
Yes,
You
yes, sir.
know,
It is very brief.
Awesome. We like that.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be here again for this momentous occasion. As Ms. Love mentioned, there were no objections this time. We had about 3 comments from Florida Commerce and a few comments from the other agencies here and there, but we have addressed every single one of them. There's a text that you probably received together with this item that highlights those changes in the different elements where they have been addressed, and there's only several elements that are affected, not the entire plan. But we received still a comment about clarifying the language with respect to our workforce and affordable housing policies that were already in the plan. In the previous version of it, we had received what was an objection, and this time the comment is similar, but it's just a comment. So we did talk to the staff at Florida Commerce and asked for clarification as to what exactly they were looking for, and they gave it to us, and hopefully this time we get it. So I'm not going to go through these in detail. Unless you have any particular question for me, just to say that we're happy to be here at the end so that we actually can move towards our next steps. I'm just going to skip over these. If you do adopt the plan tonight with these changes, we will transmit to the state this adopted comprehensive plan. Our next steps are going to be to finalize our sort of designer version of the document, which is the one that is going to go on the website, as well as doing our Spanish and Haitian Creole translations so that they all are there available for the public to read. And then we're going to throw ourselves into amending your LDRs to make sure that they are consistent with the new policies that you're adopting. So thank you, and that's it.
Thank you so very much. Public hearing is open on the item. Public hearing is open on the, oh, that's very good. Public hearing is closed on the item over here.
Move approval.
I think we have a couple of,
Withdraw my motion.
okay. I know I have one. I know I have one, for you, Mr. Ms. Love. I think that might be for you or for Sylvia. What was one of the comment that came back from Durham? I know is it 2 comments that they sent, or was it 1?
Yeah, let's go back. I didn't want to spend too much time, but there were a couple of comments, and they actually were more editorial than anything
Okay.
else. There were 2 policies that we have in the infrastructure element, particularly in the natural groundwater aquifer recharge area, where they asked us to consolidate the 2 policies into one, and they even provided us the language that they wanted. So
Okay,
that was a
made it
simple
easy.
change. And then the second one was to add some language into one of our other policies, specifically to say that we are following the county flood criteria, which of course, you know, we have to do anyway. It just wasn't explicit enough, so that's what we did.
And they didn't mention
yes.
nothing about an overlay district or any, okay.
No, nothing.
Okay, well, thank you. The last one, and I know you, Ms. Love, you will be doing a special presentation to us regarding Live Local Act. You will dive into that more deeper.
Yes,
into-
sir. That'll be
okay?
on the July
The
9th.
July
Yeah,
9th.
the
Okay,
July 9th
perfect.
meeting.
Thank you so much, Ms.
And I
Sylvia.
just wanna ask with respect to that is the one change that we made
Mhm.
in this version that was not
That was
asked
not-
by them. We added some language about Live
Awesome.
Local.
Okay, thank you so very much. Councilman, I'll second your motion. No,
I'll
yeah,
put my
go to your
motion back in
motion.
order to move
Yeah.
approval.
Okay.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab L. The motion was seconded by Mayor Desilme. Vice Mayor Estimate Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Desilme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Charles, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you. Next item.
Tab O, a proposed first reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, adopting amendments to Volume 1, Goals, Objectives, and Policies of the City of North Miami 2016 Comprehensive Plan in accordance with the requirements of Section 163.3184, parentheses 3, Florida Statutes 2023, and Chapter 29, Article 3, Division 11, Section 3-1102, parentheses capital A, and Sections 3-1105 through 3-1110 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, specifically by amending the future land use element at Policy 1.2.1 and Policy 1.21.3 to establish a height bonus for the Bayshore Zone, providing for an adoption hearing and subsequent transmittal of the proposed amendments to the State Land Planning Agency for a determination of completeness, providing for repeal, conflict severability, and an effective date. This item was deferred from the June 11th council meeting.
The
Thank you so
companion
much.
item for this is tab B. P.
I'm sorry?
The companion for this is tab P.
Okay, so it's ONP?
Yes, sir.
Please be advised that the following item on the agenda is quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to speak in favor of, object to, or comment on an item, please complete a public speaker's card indicating the agenda item number on which you would like to comment. You must be sworn before addressing the City Council, and you may be subject to cross-examination. If you refuse to submit to cross-examination, the City Council will not consider your comments in its final deliberations. Please also disclose any ex parte communications you may have had with any members of the City Council. City Council members must do the same.
This
I'll
is
go
for the
ahead.
second one, right?
Mhm.
Go ahead, read it, and then we'll do the disclosure.
Okay. If you plan to speak on the item at tab P, please raise your hand. Stand and raise your hand to be sworn. If you're speaking on the item at tab P, do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give in today's proceedings are the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say aloud, I do. I do. Thank you. Also, while I read the item, please be sure to pick up a public speaker card if you haven't already completed one. They're beautifully designed. And at the front, yeah, they're gorgeous. Yes, take one and frame them, please, on your walls in your offices. Tab P, a proposed first reading quasi-judicial ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, providing for text amendment to chapter 29 of the city of North Miami Code of Ordinances entitled Land Development Regulations at Article 4 entitled Zoning Designation, specifically at section 4-203, implementing a height bonus in the BZ district for a total height of up to 238 feet 10 inches through the conditional use permit process. In accordance with section 166.041, parentheses 3, parentheses C, Florida statutes 2023 and sections 3-1002, 3-1004, 3-1005, through 3-1007 and section 3-302 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, further authorizing the interim city manager to do all things necessary to effectuate the zoning map amendment, providing for repeal, conflict, severability, codification, and for an effective date. This item was deferred from the June 11th council meeting.
Well, no, actually, I just wanted to point out, Mayor, as you recall, these items, they were opened for public hearing at the last meeting. You all were deliberating, and then you tabled it, and we said at the last meeting that it would not be open to public comment again. I've since heard from the attorneys. I think they may have a request that they're going to make to open it up again, so if you don't mind allowing them to speak.
Thank you, City Attorney Pedro Gasson of Holland and Knight with offices at 701 Brickell Avenue. Mayor, members of the council, at the last hearing, we were told to have another community meeting to engage with the community and tell them about the height that we were seeking in order to engage and see what their perspectives were. We are happy to say that we had a very productive community meeting recently, and that at that community meeting, we had several additional folks who wanted to come out in support of this item and talk about their support of the additional height that we're seeking. We think it would be helpful to the council in your deliberations to hear from some of these members who live within the neighborhood, who are supportive of the item, because it's directly addressing the council's request that we have another community meeting. So if the council is willing to indulge us, just for only folks who did not speak the last time to come up and speak, we think it would be great for the council to hear it.
Okay. I mean, I'm okay with that. I know. I'm okay with that. Okay.
Thank you.
They raised their hand. They stand up, right? Those folks. Oh, okay. Very good. Very good.
Mr. Mayor.
Mayor, I'd like
Yes.
to disclose.
Yes, yes.
Ex parte
Yeah, that's what I
communication.
was gonna do. But you go first. Go ahead.
I have met with Pedro Gasson, and I did meet with I think was it WW, I believe. And I know that they had a community meeting last night. Thank you, Rabbi Lane, for hosting that community meeting and ensuring that the residents' voices were heard in District 2. Thank you.
Okay, and I spoke, I think today I met with W4 and Mr. Agner and I think Alexandria, I think was in the meeting. Vice Mayor?
Right, I had ex parte communication with Pedro Gasson.
Councilman? Nothing, okay. Alrighty then, and Gavin is not here. We good, Ms. Love. Brief, I guess you could do a brief overview.
If you decide.
Yes, a brief overview, and then we'll open it up for the comments.
Once again, for the record, Debbie Love, Development Services. Both of these items are companion items. They consist of a comprehensive plan text amendment as well as a land development text amendment. It is really affecting 3 parcels of land, as you maybe recall, that currently it's designed as 115 feet maximum height. This doesn't change the underlying 115 feet because that's as of right. But if the proposal is to allow, through a conditional use permit, the ability to go to a maximum of the 200 plus feet there. So we did continue it, and as you can see, as I said, it's 115 as of right. We would be looking at modifying both the comprehensive plan, and part of this is the requirement that as a condition of the conditional use permit to even be able to come forward, there are certain criteria that conditional use permit must include, including access to Biscayne Bay or some sort of contribution to the local park to enhance access to view the bay, and a community benefits package. And I'm sure Mr. Cassant has spoke eloquently before in the last meeting, and he would be more than happy to touch on any other of their proposal. So we're waiting for you. If you decide to pass this tonight, it would come back for second reading, and then after that, it becomes effective 31 days after adoption by Florida statute. Again, it's the text amendment to our LDRs. We have to do the same thing. We have to create the language in the LDRs to allow this to occur through a conditional use permit. So Planning Commission recommended approval, 7-0 for both of these items. And it actually goes into effect the same time the comp plan would. That's as quick as an overview as I can give you without taking too much time.
Okay, thank you. I think you have mentioned there's some folks that wanted to speak. We have a mic. Please, let's go at it.
What people are... Oh, I am not allowed to speak? Let me ask the
No,
council
you
members.
are. I'm saying.
I am allowed to speak?
Yeah. Only the people that already, that I think the request from them is the people who did not speak the last time.
I submitted a card, so I'll just confirm. I
Okay,
am
no,
not
but-
being allowed to
so
speak
did
today.
you speak the last time?
I did speak the
Okay,
last
no,
time.
then
So I am
only
not
the
allowed
people-
to speak
yes,
even though I
correct.
submitted a card.
Yes,
Thank you.
Got it. Good. Anyone else? Pedro, anyone else? Going once? Come on, have you spoke, Rabbi, come on up. We going.
My name is Jory Lang. I live at 2290 Northeast 121st Street, directly in front of this proposed project. So as I said last night at the meeting at the synagogue, from a purely selfish perspective, this affects me completely in every way, and my synagogue is right down the block, and it affects us completely. I have been looking at the different aspects of this project, and again, from a personal perspective, one of the proposals for this presents a building that looks like a wall. That's a horrible thing, again, selfishly, to look at. I don't want to wake up, leave my house, and look at a wall. It looks like a prison. There is a project that I saw that represents 2 towers. The flat, straight wall one makes me feel claustrophobic. The one with the towers allows the sun and everything to come in. It's 2 towers, it looks very pretty, but there's an opening which allows us to look still into the water, to look forward, not to feel like we're looking at a wall. I don't want to do that. Also, from a financial perspective, in doing as much research from a very novice perspective, the monies that would come in from the taxes, I think will be very beneficial. I think it could also be beneficial to the synagogue. The fact that they're trying to build this building, you know, there are a number of different religious groups in this community. There are only 2 Jewish institutions. And the reality is the community, from a Jewish perspective, is not as strong as it was. The hope, again, to be extremely redundant, from a selfish perspective, I'm hoping that if this building is able to go up, which can only go... My wife should get one of those.
I got you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Goodbye. The best part was coming.
Yeah, thank you, Rabbi. Anyone else?
You're in trouble tonight.
Yes, yes. You please sign up a card, Rabbi. You have to sign a card. You didn't. You did? I don't see it. It's not up here. But
And Marcia wrote it. 'Cause I
Marsha didn't give it. Oh my God. And anyone with money, by the way, any of the directors. That's why Marsha's in the back. She is your bulldog for money. I mean, and she will get it. I mean, she probably don't put that, but she will. Oh, good. Okay, so let me just, so that I don't, hey, is this the other? How are you doing this thing? Wait a minute, you're not here too. Are you here? Go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
Hi, my name is Avram Lipschitz, and I live on 11855 Northeast 19th Drive. And the shul, the synagogue I have is on Biscayne and 126. So I want to share just, I'm not politically savvy, so I'm going to just talk from my heart.
We know.
I'm going to take that as a compliment there, my
Yeah.
dear friend there.
It's a compliment.
So I'm going to share from what I think is the bigger perspective. Change is uncomfortable. But without change, we don't get to grow. And we've got to get beyond just our personal looking out the backyard and having a view of Peter Pan coming from Neverland. We've got to have a bigger understanding of that this community is standing right now at a real crossroads of going from a semi-mom and pop shop to a real fundamental city in the United States of America. And for that to happen, things have to change. The way we look at things have to change. What we see has to change. And I've sat with both Mr. Wallace, I've sat with other people, and I think that this is exactly what we're looking for in changing the dynamics of the city, the financials of the city, and how people stop worrying about just themselves and their views, and a bigger message to the entire city. I also believe, like Rabbi Lang said, that from the dynamics of the two Jewish organizations, I've already have people who have come here from Monroe, from Montreal, because they feel that there's an opportunity for the city to grow in its paradigm. And they're looking to get involved. They're looking to bring their money here. They're looking to bring family here, friends here, and build a community. Is that me being over?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that is a very difficult sound for a rabbi, but I will end.
Thank you, Rabbi. Now we're going to have Vanessa D. I don't want to mess up the last name so bad. I think, yeah, Vanessa D. Did Vanessa, I think you were here the last time, right? Is Vanessa here? Okay, Vanessa is not here. Okay, and then next is Maxo Forrest. Maxo Forrest, going once, going twice, Maxo, gone. I know, is it Maxo? Maxo Forrest? Maxo Forrest? This is Vanessa D. and Maxo Forrest is the last one. Okay, the next one is Dr. Oli Piven. Oh, okay, she's coming. Hey, how you doing? I think you probably didn't before. You spoke, doctor, the last time?
No.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna ask everybody if you did speak the last time. Just don't, Go ahead. I'm sorry, doc.
That's 12,000.
Yes, go ahead. 1 second. We're gonna restart the time for you.
Drive.
Fail to restart the time,
Right,
please.
we're gonna start. Okay, there we go. There we go.
I support the maximum height. I support
Your name and address for the record.
Olha Piven, 12,000 North Bayshore Drive, apartment 110. I support the maximum height. I support increasing and improving our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, Andreas, you already spoke. Judith Stranger. I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong.
Hi, I'm Judy Stringer. I live in Majorca Towers. My mother bought there in 1970, so I call it home, even though I left and now I'm back. And I believe that a lot of the people in Majorca are concerned about blocking our view. And even if you approve the lower height, it's still going to block the view. By allowing the maximum height and being able to put affluent neighbors in there who will contribute to our amenities in the whole neighborhood, which has to be done, otherwise they're not going to spend $3 million for an apartment unless they know that the neighborhood is appropriate for their lifestyle. So I would hope that in negotiations, if the height variance is allowed for the two towers, which makes it beautiful, that there could be something worked out between the developer and the city, that whatever money goes into the city would be used in our neighborhood to create sidewalks, improve our park, and of course the flooding situation. I don't believe that the affluent people that would buy these units would be full-time with children, two-car families, and create a much bigger traffic problem, which we already have all over the city. I think that the higher building will allow these people that we want in our community who will want the amenities that we want. I have more time. But I do agree with Rabbi Lang.
He could give it to one of the rabbis. They
No, but I agree with my neighbors that are looking at it as progress to enhance our neighborhood. Because if we just get a concrete structure there, that's not going to give us the amenities we want for the sidewalks in the park and even security, then I think we should get the height that we need.
Thank you so much. Gloria L. Gloria L.
Good evening. My name is Gloria Laurenti, and I live on Majorca Towers, 11930 North Bayshore Drive. Well, as a happy resident in the area, I want progress. I want something to look nice in the neighborhood. I don't want that wall that was presented with the lower. And if that's the case, then the height is accepted. I also wanted to know what are they offering to our neighborhood? How are they contribute to our neighborhood instead of having our neighborhood looking living our neighborhood with lots of issues? And how is the city going to compromise to our community? Who's going to be enforcing? And are those funds that are going to be given or provide going to be used in favor of our community? As a part of of this beautiful neighborhood, I just wanted to continue living in the area, and I want an area that is growing, but growing with beauty instead of decreasing and make our properties decrease in value. I also don't want that wall that is being presented. I want a building and a very reputable developer that is not going to present us with more density and more issues than we have. And if that's the case, is the city going to be able to oversee the way that they're going to continue? In other words, is the city going to oversee whatever they're going to do and promise to our neighborhood? Is it going to be fulfilled? And we just want improvement. We don't want any more issues in the neighborhood. We don't want those vacant lots being there forever. We don't want more problems that we are facing right now at the park. That park is a beautiful area. Even though it's beautiful, we have no choice. We have no choice but not to go because it's always full of homeless and people doing drugs. So is that park going to be improved? Is that going to be a part of the city, the neighborhood?
Yes. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Deborah Davies, I think you spoke the last time, right? Okay, I think you did, because I know you don't play. You on top of it. I believe that you did, but she did, or can we, you think?
Can we
Roll the tape.
allow her the opportunity to
Yes,
speak
we-
so that?
Take one, well, you have two, so you could compromise with us and take one.
Unless
If I
somebody's-
could, 1 second, that would be unfair.
Yeah,
Because
well,
there's a
yeah.
gentleman
She-
that,
did she
that
speak?
she did speak, and there was a gentleman that spoke last time, so if we allow her,
Okay.
we
Then
need
we
to
have to
allow
let
him,
him-
so
yeah.
that would be
I
unfair.
stand
Do you remember
corrected.
I spoke?
I
Yes,
don't
You
remember.
do?
yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay, then we, if we let her speak, which I don't have a problem, then you will have to speak also. Okay, that's fine, you can speak, it's up to you, Miss Davy. Yeah, it's up to you, I don't, huh?
No, it's
No?
up to us.
So-
They say- okay.
Mr. Mayor, I
Yes.
withdraw my request that Ms. Davies approach
Okay.
the microphone. I was under the impression that
I-
perhaps you did
That's
not
fine. I don't
speak, if you
remember.
didn't
I don't
remember.
I don't remember.
But
Okay.
if there is any chance that while this discussion is ongoing, if anybody can go back and look at the tape and verify a
Okay,
yes
I'll
or a
go sit
no,
down.
I'm willing to open that back up, but I get it. We're not trying to have everybody
And I'm
get
not
us.
trying to, like,
Right.
We got it, we
You know.
understand.
anyway.
And I know, Mr. Pavitel, I know you spoke. Yeah, okay. And Lisa, I don't think Lisa E? I don't think Lisa spoke. I don't think I've seen. And I think this is the last one. Lisa is the last person on the item. Anyone else submitted any cards? That's it. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi.
Hi.
Because I'm planning on doing this. Let me just say that I moved to North Miami a couple of years ago, and I lived across the street from the
Your
Surfside
name and
Towers.
address? Yes.
Sorry?
No, your name and address?
Oh, Lisa Eichler. I live on Majorca Towers, 11930 North Bayshore Drive. Okay, so I lived in Surfside. I saw the towers go down. It was right across the street from me. I moved to North Miami because I thought it was quiet, and I'm not opposed to anything not being built. I think that it would be nice to have change, but I think restrictions is important. I mean, we're talking about homeless people, and then we're building unaffordable condos. This is North Miami, you know, like, my kids were born and raised here. They can't afford to live here. So why do we keep building more and more expensive things, and we don't have homes for people who live here? That's what I was thinking. And I don't think they should go any higher than what the rules are. I mean, the flooding is terrible. It's a big issue. Traffic will be bad. And these people are going to be coming from homes that they have a home in South America, a home in Europe, a home in Miami. That's not our community. These are like, you know, people who are coming for vacation. We have this other home across the way. They have this huge yacht. They do these parties. They're like from a Mexican tequila company or something. Like, they don't respect our land, and they don't respect our community. So that's just what I wanted to say.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Miss Lisa E. I like that, Lisa E.
So, Mayor,
Yes,
a
yes.
couple of things.
Yes.
So first, I
Mhm.
want to say that we have Deborah Davies listed as having submitted a public speaker card for
Oh,
the
okay,
last
but-
meeting, but no confirmation that she actually spoke at the last meeting. So that's being checked. And then the other thing is that I think you all should have received several emails in opposition to this, and some that were also in favor of. So if, excuse me?
Yes, we received it.
So that'll be also reflected in the record, and we have printed copies in case you want them. Any member of the council wants them.
Thank you so very much, Madam Clerk. I thought that was Councilwoman Timothy that was saying it was you. I believe, Mr. Gasson, do you have any rebuttal? Anything you want to add to it?
I'll be very, very brief. I spoke about this the last time. The only item that I think is important with respect to what was brought up new is that the potential development, this text amendment provides the opportunity for a project to come back. That's all it does. And what it will do is give an opportunity to bring back the best project that provides for the most taxable revenues and the most community benefits. What is being tethered to the language that has been proffered and that staff has reviewed and has diligently reviewed, as I might add, is that it's going to ensure that there are certain criteria that has to be met even before the item comes back before this council. Given the fact that we've had this meeting with the community, we would be respectfully asking this council to allow us to go to the state We believe that the community meeting demonstrated last night that there was overwhelming support for the maximum height because of issues relating to flooding that exists in the area. By having a taller building, more square footage, there's the opportunity to have more luxurious units that can help to accommodate and pay for some of the existing issues that exist within the city. So we think that it's a positive opportunity, but again, it's just an opportunity as part of this process tonight. It's simply seeking the ability to come back before you with the best possible project that can address some of these concerns. We again appreciate your time and your indulgence and are looking forward to the deliberations and any questions or comments that you may have. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Just turned it off. Thank you so much, Mr. Garcon. We'll start with the district commissioner, and then we'll take it off from there. Councilwoman, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to everyone who spoke. And I did attend the community meeting last night virtually. Someone mentioned Surfside, and I believe yesterday made it 3 years since the Surfside situation happened. And I was watching the news this week, and I saw in Aventura, another condo was being assessed, each resident $220,000 was the assessment for each condo unit owner because of what happened in Surfside and a law that changed that required them to fill their reserves and all that stuff. So I'm extremely sensitive to the residents at Mariners Bay who are being assessed, this issue. I met with Laura, met with their attorney, met with some of the residents, Adam, and like my heart hurts for them. But I'm kind of at a crossroad because yes, as much as we want to assist, as much as I would want to help out Mariners Bay, I'm also sensitive to the residents in that immediate area as well, who are not in favor of the 238 feet. I don't think anyone would want 238 feet in front of their single family home. And there's some who does want and there's some who doesn't. Mayor, I know you proffered the 169 with Majorca Tower. I thought that was very fair. But I also understand from the developer's point of view that they're putting forth a more community benefit package, a more extensive community benefit package that will assist with flooding and speed bumps and what the community would like to see. So it's kind of one of those things where I'm at a crossroads, right? Because this is in my district. It affects the residents, the ones who live there, and the ones in the surrounding area. And I do realize this is waterfront property. Waterfront property in Miami-Dade County is going for millions, right? So we're probably one of the last city with, affordable land that's left to develop throughout Miami-Dade County. North Miami Beach is going up, Aventura is going up, City Miami is all the way up. And we're toying with the idea. So I will leave it to the council to deliberate. I know this is one that requires a supermajority vote, but at this juncture, I'm still assessing because it's definitely something that I'm extremely sensitive to.
No, not at this juncture. The transmittal is only a majority vote, and then only at the adoption at this
What
time.
is that?
Thunder.
That was
That
thunder.
means we gotta go.
It's raining.
Whoa.
That is God voting.
Oh, God.
No, he loves it. He loves it.
Okay, thank you so much, council member. We just do have to speed it up. Honestly, I met with the developers today. I think I'm at a crossroad as well. Same as you, council member. I was hoping that I would get something because I think it's the harder part about this. I think people, when we are up here, the decision makers, there's two sides to it. And someone like me who believe in doing the listening to the residents, but also fair in terms of doing things that's responsible for the developer. People know I have absolutely no issue with development as long as it's smart development, but at the end of the day, I'm always going to be with the residents. That's just how I am, and that's how I govern. I felt, and I'm going to be straight up and honest, it took me a lot and I had no business, and I'm going to say it out there, to even get into this fight at the initial beginning, to even get the community to get where we got. And I felt like the developer they don't even appreciate that part, like the residents even making that concession. That it feels like, okay, it's 169, or we should be at the 230, whatever that day. It's, you have to understand this is hard. These folks, some of them, and I do understand it's a bedroom community. They've been here since 1950. They did, some of them, we went to a similar issue just a couple of blocks down the, and Mr. Gasson, and I'm gonna say this, you were up here, you were with this, and the same council people, the same community, we know it's hard, it's not easy. I personally, and I've said it, it could be 500 feet. I would love to see it. And I think all of us as policymakers, but we are torn because you got your community, one segment, and the segment who comes out and said it's usually not the segment that we represent up here. And a lot of us who sit here represent are not the people who come here and speak. I'm just gonna say that, and I'm glad that the Madam Clerk mentioned it, because there are people who emailed us and say, hey, you know what, I'm in support, or I'm not in support. You know, but I do feel like they have made a big move to move from where they were to 169. Now, what I said, if anything else could go beyond that, I don't have any issues with it. If you guys went out there, the community said they're okay with moving up to, I honestly, after I had a meeting with them earlier today, I did check with some other folks with the 238. They told me no, that was not what was on the plan in terms of the community. That was a much lower number. So I said, okay, then there's some issues there, because, you know, I'm someone, you know, you come in, it's black and white with me. And, you know, it's, you know, there was one number that I was hearing. I was not, you know, supporting anything. I didn't say I was going to support anything. But once I started hearing from residents and talking to them, that even we need to know something if we're going to go out there, present it to the folks. My commitment to them is what was that 169. That's where I am tonight. That's where, if anything else needs to change, beyond that, I have not had any other communication with the residents, except they've been emailing, been back and forth. That is that. If the council wants to go any higher, they want to entertain the 230, I don't have any issue with it, and I'm being as honest as I could be. But it is hard, and I do understand the commissioner issue, because we do have some people who does not support it, and we have our brothers and sisters who we need to help out, and we do know it's hard for us to try to get them out. So I think if we could get a number that could work for everyone, but you know, that could work for the developer, we could, you know how we work things out with the community. But I don't know if we're any closer. Go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A question for staff. So I don't know if this would go through the manager or Ms. Love. If we approve this text amendment tonight, or if we turn it down, it's done. If we approve the text amendment this evening, is this the last time we talk about this project?
Okay. Once again, for the record, Debbie Love, Development Services. You're not talking about a specific project. You're talking about a change to the comprehensive plan and the LDRs to allow you to have a conversation.
So allow me to rephrase my question, Counselor. We all know that the Gorilla is the Continuum project on North Bay Shore. If we approve this text amendment this evening, will there ever be a bite at the apple for this city council to talk about the project Continuum?
As I started to say, it's making a change to the code to require a conditional use permit. So they have to come back before you with a conditional use permit application with the project.
That's one hearing.
They have to go to planning commission, have to go to city council to see you. Then they come back to you with a site plan approval. So they're going to have 3 more public hearings after.
And are all those public hearings one reading, or would they theoretically be multiple readings?
No, it's one time.
Okay.
Planning commission once, you once, for the conditional use permit.
When, let's say, were to pass this evening, when would it come back before this city council?
Which part, sir?
The first part, the
The second reading?
I'm looking at all of this stuff that I do between now and November through a very unique lens. I leave office on that second Tuesday of November. Will we hear from the developer again before then?
For second reading, it will go to the state. We have to submit it to the state. 10 days, if you pass it tonight, we have to send it to the state within 10 days. They have approximately 30 days to make any comments. It then comes back to us, assuming they have no comments on it. We do second reading, it goes back to them, and then the CUP
But
process can start.
what we're talking about tonight is not the continuum. As you just stated, we're talking about the text amendment.
That's correct.
So text amendment, first reading tonight, second reading at some point.
Right.
I'm talking about the continuum. When do we hear from them?
That's up to them to submit the conditional use permit application. I cannot give you a time frame because that is not up to us. It is up to the development team to produce the application and all the plans and all the studies that have to be done, and then it would come before Planning Commission and you.
So theoretically, let's say they wanted, and I'm about to ask, I'm
That would
softballing,
be
I'm
probably-
telegraphing the question I'm about to ask the developer, but theoretically, they could bring it back to us as soon as July, August? Well, no, it needs 30 days, so August? Theoretically, they could bring this back to us in August?
September.
Technically, they could bring you a conditional use permit at your second reading. So you would, if you approve second reading on the text amendments,
If we approve first reading.
well, tonight, if you approve first reading tonight, when they come back in September, something like that, we anticipate coming back from the state, what would happen then is they could theoretically, at second reading, submit their CUP application at the same time.
So you're saying the state's not even gonna give it back to us till September?
No, it coming back before you because of your availability. So we're estimating, we're not
We
gonna
meet
get-
in August, so,
We probably will not, I can't guarantee that we would have the comments or anything back
Okay.
from the state.
so the likelihood is the state hands it back sometime leading into September.
Correct, sir. That's what we
Meaning that the
anticipate. somewhere-
earliest that they could bring it back to us would be September.
Probably I am going to give you the estimate conservatively of your first meeting, potentially your first meeting in September.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, if I might be
Yes,
allowed to ask Mr. Gasant. Mr. Gasant,
I,
do you have the intent to bring this back to us in September, October?
So
November?
it's our intention to bring this back as soon as possible. As Debbie had noted, there's a 10-day period. I'm a bit more optimistic than Debbie. So there's a 10-day period from the date that this is heard for it to be sent to the state. The state reviewing agencies have 30 days to review it. Assuming that this is before them in July, theoretically, it could come back in August, if there's a late meeting in August, before this council. It is our intention to move as fast as we can on this, given the situation with Mariners. We're in partnership. We're trying to move this forward as soon as possible. So it would be our intent for the second reading of this to come back as soon as possible on this item.
yeah, the, go ahead.
I mean, I can weigh in with I'll weigh in with my opinion right now. This is a flawed project. You've got issues with neighbors. You've got issues with the street and the widening. You've got issues with potential flooding. That said, because I'm on my way out the door, I'm willing to give the leash to go forward tonight. We have an election happening in the city. I'm now talking to candidates who are in the room, and I actually only see one. This should be an object of heavy discussion in this community. There should be neighborhood homeowner groups calling candidates together and asking where they stand on these. Oh, I see two now. There should be people calling candidates and asking where they stand on this issue. This is bigger than my little bit of time I have left in office. There are things that must be addressed in this project. I'm willing to allow the time, since it's gonna come back 1, 2, or 3 more times, and maybe I have another bite at this apple. I think it's a flawed project, but I think it has a ton of potential, not just from the revenue that could come off of it, I think the park amenities, North Bay Shore Park, there's an opportunity to negotiate an absolutely revamped North Bay Shore Park. Knock out all that parking that's there at the west side of the park, knock it all out, expand the actual footprint of the park. Take that boardwalk that's out there and expand it further. I think there's some discussions to be had here. So my vote tonight in favor would only be so that those discussions could continue to be had. I may or may not be still sitting in this seat when it comes back. Sounds like tonight I might be, but if the chance is I'm not, again, the community needs to have some serious discussion with candidates who are running. I know there's one person who will not be on this city council 5 months from now. It's me. So there needs to be a serious discussion about what this city wants to do with development, because too often we're having this same discussion over and over with each project. I mean, you could erase the word continuum and put in White House in whatever that name was. I've already forgotten. But we're having the same discussion over and over. The community needs to decide what it wants to do, what it wants to see in the city, and it needs to elect people who are going to do what they want them to do. So despite the concerns that I have, I do see good potential here. I'm willing to vote in favor of moving it forward tonight.
Thank you, Councilman.
Well,
Mayor.
with that being, hold on, yeah, with that being said, and I think council member mentioned, something, the biggest issue that I have tonight is not necessarily based on the project, but it's what the project is asking. And I think that's what we talked about last time. This is asking us to change our comp plan and our LDR. In the midst of all that, and I know people would like to say, well, if another developer comes in and want to build something that's 210 story, you just have to vote it down. I'm like, well, no, why would we open it for you and then we vote it down for them? So I think as policymakers, we have to be, that's what the smart thing comes in terms of development. And I think that's where the councilwoman is tonight. I don't know, and I'm still not comfortable with giving 238 stories. There's no evidence from any of the community folks that I talk to that support that height of 230 feet, story in terms of that. So that's always been my issue. I do think Councilman Galvin is right, but I think once we bypass all that, if we were to go down the route and get to a point where we eventually did with the other projects that we've done in the past, where we got an opportunity to negotiate, where we get to community, package and benefit. I think there's absolutely opportunities, and I mentioned that to the folks that I met at Mayorkas Tower. I said, listen, you guys gonna have to give some things. You cannot, these developers, they didn't make money, and I do know that we want some stuff, some infrastructure stuff. If we want them to pay, if we want the stuff that we talking about, the North Bay Show. In fact, I was talking about maybe doing a boardwalk, a public boardwalk. So all of these things, but yet we cannot even talk about that until we even get to the actual project. And I think tonight, although we like to say we don't want to really focus on it, but the meat of the thing here, and I think Vice Mayor last time mentioned it, is height, is what number is, because at the end of the day, we still here talking about the number. Obviously, the 169 that I proposed, that I think the council member of the district, in the majority of the email that we got, people were, constituents were citing the compromise that we had from the last meeting. So it's a little bit hard for us to kind of say, okay, we had that, but we didn't have any question with it, although we said there was a meeting. That was how people said they're okay with that. That was good. Again, I do not mind if it's 300 story, but we need to make sure that at least a good majority of the folks are okay with 300 story, which we do not have. Vice Mayor, and I think Councilman, unless you want to go first, or Vice Mayor Blackburn.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. And so just a brief recap. What we're doing tonight, we are not approving a project. So we basically setting the tone. Let's say if tomorrow we dream to be like Aventura, because I'm looking at Aventura, they go high by the sea. North Miami Beach, they do the same thing. City of Miami, they do the same thing. And then we decide that we want to do the same thing. This will allow us to do just that. Am I right, Mr. Gasson?
So this would certainly allow the council to review projects that seek to have a height of 238 feet if they meet certain requirements. So yes, if it has a community benefit package, if it meets what the council would like to see, absolutely.
Thank you. And also I'll just go in the word of one of our rabbi. He said that, and I quote, "Changes are uncomfortable, and without change, we cannot go." And I do believe this is exactly where we are. And going back to what Councilman Galvin just said, the project, your project coming up after this has a lot of potential and help us to change the area, make it nicer to the resident and to everybody in the city of North Miami. This is basically the way to move forward. I do believe, this is my personal opinion as a councilman, and it is not in my district, and I do respect that. There are places that are in the middle of north, south, east, and west. We go 180 feet. We can go up to 100 feet. And this project, looking at it, part of what we're doing tonight is just facing the bay, isn't it? It's just right there. So we have the beach as the biggest neighbor that we have and this is the face of the city. So see if we can bring something that has potential to change our city. I do believe it is something that is worth for us to take a look at it and move on. And this is what we have now. But later on, we can adjust and make sure that everything is falling in line. But for now, I do believe we should be willing to, let me speak for myself, let me take that we out. I am willing to support what we have in here and then go on so that we have the choice. We can move on and then make it happen. And this is where I'm at. I am willing to.
You are okay with
I am okay.
moving
Yes.
the comp plan
Yes.
from the heights?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Vice Mayor?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. I have a question for Mr. Attorney. If we vote this ordinance as is, it comes back to the state, can we at second reading alter, make any changes? Let me be more specific. Let's just say we vote this as is, and second reading, we want to change the height. Is there anything else that we'd have to do, just to either increase or decrease?
Based on all the discussion about how the height is the most important part of this this ordinance, what I believe my opinion would be is that would be a substantial change that would require us to have another first reading. You'd have to start all over again if you changed it in the second reading.
And I'm not in the business of disagreeing with your city attorney. I agree with your city attorney a great deal. And I think your city attorney is amazing. I think your city attorney is extremely competent. But the only reason I'm going to disagree with the city attorney in this specific instance is because we've had the same scenario in Miami-Dade County where we've had, so long as it's within the envelope of what we're doing and it's less, you can go back. But if you're seeking more, then you can't do that. Because the substantial change would not allow you to go back to the state agencies because they're saying, look, we looked at 238. You can't come back with 239 or 240, but you can come back with 220, 217. You can come back with something else. So I say this with a lot of pain in the sense that I'm not in the habit of disagreeing with Jeff.
I actually don't disagree. What But the number in my head was the 168 that you've been talking
Yeah,
about.
169.
I mean,
Right, so
yeah,
that, no, that's why I asked my
yeah,
question.
it's a 160, if you, it's just, it's a whole different thing.
No, why,
Yeah.
no, but that's, my question was, as written, let me make sure that's why I said,
Yes.
if it is as is, because it's not down yet, the numbers are being talked about, but what is being printed is 238. That's why my question was, if it's submitted as is, on second reading, could we, to the state, right? Or pass tonight and go to the state and come back, could we, at second reading, decrease it? Let me be more specific.
You could, but again, I think the answer of whether or not it's a substantial change or not depends on what you're changing.
Exactly.
And again, when I answered the question, the only numbers I've been hearing all night is 168 and
Yes.
238. So that's a huge change.
Yeah, I think those are the two, I think those are the two visions where we are, I think for the city is.
So for clarity, Mr. Attorney, you would agree that if, let me give an example, that if it is passed as written, and on second reading, it went down to 200, that would not be a substantial change, that would
wouldn't,
make
but
a
then,
difference.
But then again, and I've stayed out of this, but here's the thing. What Mr. Kassan is saying is correct. Even if you approve 238, whatever the number is, 250 tonight, it doesn't mean that that's what the project will be. So it doesn't even make any difference what you approve it to now, or if you change it then. At the end of the day, it's the project. So all he's doing is creating a framework so that, for the project, so that if he comes back with a project and it's 238, but you all feel you want to make it 230 or 168, at that point, you can do it at that point.
Right,
The
I
pro-
understand,
yeah.
but the discussion from the community and the dais with what you're saying is still about the number. So that's why I'm asking those specific questions. But
No, I get it. I just don't want to create the idea that what we're approving tonight approves a project of 238.
Yes,
That's
because
not what's happening.
the framework that they are putting forth is they are setting, the developer has put in an application to our city, which is a process that legally they could do, where they are amending our comp plan, which is I guess you could say the real thing of our city. And I think most of the residents in Keystone and San Souci, those are the things that they are upset about, is the comp plan and what we do to go to comp plan. So they have essentially gone and said, we want to increase, and they tried, well, let's leave that alone in terms of that. But where we are right now, there's nowhere in the city except we have the Solomia project, and then you have other parts in the city that the height they get. In terms of that, there are some that are some height that are grandfathered in, but in terms of that specific height, we don't know what they're gonna propose, but they are saying within our plan. So anyone could come in and put in a proposal within, not necessarily them, but I think that's the question. That's the little thing we are.
I have another. May I continue? Also, is there consideration to make sure that in whatever plan that comes, that in the community benefit package, that a bay walk is considered a full circle bay walk that the community can benefit from, the water view and et cetera? Is that something you're willing to put on record?
So, Vice Mayor, I think we're willing to look at all options as part of the process. What I will say is that, as Councilman Galvin alluded to, just to take a point, is that at the park, which would allow all community members to attend, and if we were able to enhance that, there's an existing beautiful bridge
That's not my
pier.
question.
But yes, all options are on the table. We have to bring it back before you. We are happy to look at all of those options and discuss whether those opportunities exist. I think that's really, as we go back through the process, because what we'll be doing as we go through the project is developing a community benefits package, having, I anticipate, at least 10 community meetings, and engaging with the council, engaging with the planning commission, and talking about all the variety of changes and benefits that we would like to do. So it's certainly an option that we would be happy to discuss.
Correct, but I just want to make sure that any support that is requested of me, that the community benefits in somehow, and that is a strong view, that at least if you're, if there's height that's being put, that they have an opportunity to look at Mother Nature in a very decent and beautiful way.
Absolutely, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, make a motion to approve both tab O and P.
I'm sorry, I just have one or two more questions. Sorry. For Ms. Love through the manager, I know you mentioned tonight, if this goes forward, will this automatically change the BZ? Will not, or this is just to, I just want to clarify.
Oh, yes, I also have to X about the BZ also.
Yes, sir. It does not change the height of the BZ. What it does is
Okay.
it allows adds a footnote that says, if you meet these conditions through a conditional use permit, you may be able to qualify for up to 238. It does not say a guarantee 238 in any fashion. It's up to 238 at your discretion, ultimately through the conditional use permit.
My next question then.
Okay. And my second question, thank you, Galvin, and I think Councilman Galvin and Vice Mayor Estimate Irvin alluded to as well as the park. Everyone who knows me, if a developer is coming, I always say meet with the community, talk to the community, create a community benefit package to see if the community would want to engage. And one thing that I did hear from residents is ensuring that that the needs in that area are being addressed. I know White House was able to put some aside for North Bayshore Park to enhance the park, and that is something that I'm sure if this item passes, they'll make sure to include it to ensure that, hey, that the residents and their concerns are being heard. The roads, the flooding, and park access, a dog park, enhancing the existing dog park that is at that center. It's just one thing that I wanted to make sure that is conveyed to the developer if this item passes, to ensure that those residents' voices are heard.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I think this question not necessarily for Jeff, but for Ms. Love, but for Jeff. Mr. Cazzo, would the restricted covenant on the White House have any impact on this, or maybe you, Ms. Love?
No, this has no
Okay.
impact on the White
All
House
right,
project.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
I just wanted to confirm that Deborah Davies did not speak on that item
Okay.
at neither the June 11th or May 28th council meeting.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Okay. So we do owe you an apology, and then we'll. All right.
Point of personal privilege,
Yes.
allow Ms. Davies 2 minutes since she did not speak.
No, we got it. We got it. and We
Yes.
appreciate it. Go ahead.
Because you know where I live. Okay, Deborah Davies, 1165 Northeast, 127th Street. With all due respect, I am opposed to raising the permitted height on this development to 238 feet. Does anyone believe that this will be a one-off situation? Once you approve this, developers will be lining up to build 200-foot buildings all along the bay in Sans Souci and then in other parts of the city. As with other high-rise developments in single-family neighborhoods, it is complete fiction that they have no adverse impacts as the LDRs require. As I think you know, I and my neighbors are living through this adverse impacts as we speak in my home on Northeast 127th, directly across the street from the Gardens residence. And we have not even begun to experience the full adverse impacts of this development, which will become clearer once it is open for business. And that is, quote unquote, only 9 stories high, while you are looking at tonight is 20 stories. I just also want to add that we actually were flooding because of the Gardens residents a lot more than we ever have, because these new developments are 3 and 4 feet above the already existing neighborhood. What about flooding, which is already a problem on North Bayshore Drive, one for which the infrastructure is already inadequate? People move to North Miami because they don't want to live in Brickell in high-rise buildings that routinely severely flood during storms, which we just experienced. Why not instead think about protecting Sans Souci and the rest of North Miami from the impacts of the climate crisis and sea level rise with new infrastructure that protects us all and will make the city livable for future generations. North Miami needs real progressive urban planning that will include good, low-cost housing for all who need it, while improving the quality of life for all of us. This is our chance to make North Miami a place where people want to come and live, instead of a place where developers come to make their fortunes at our expense. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Davy. Thank you. Thank you.
Should I state my motion?
Yes, go ahead.
Just make a motion. I made a motion to approve both items O and P.
Second.
Tab O. I have a motion made by Councilman Charles to approve the item at tab O. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. Councilman Charles, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Desume, how do you vote?
No.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
No.
The motion carries with a 3-2 vote. Tab P. I have a motion made by Councilman Charles to approve the item at tab P. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
No.
Mayor Desume, how do you vote?
No.
Vice Mayor Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Charles, how do you vote?
Yes.
The motion carries with a 3-2 vote.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members.
Tab Q is also quasi-judicial in nature, so if you wish to speak in favor of, object to, or comment on this item, please complete a public speaker's card indicating that you'd like to speak on agenda item Q. You must be sworn before addressing the City Council, and you may be subject to cross-examination. If you refuse to submit to cross-examination, the City Council will not consider your comments in its final deliberation. Please also disclose any ex parte communications you may have had with members of the City Council. City Council members must do the same. If you plan to speak on the item at tab Q, please. City Attorney's blocking my face. I'm so sad for you all that are.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
And
Just-
so they're beautifully
One
designed
second.
cards at the entrance, so please grab one and put tab Q on it.
Madam Clerk, 1 second.
So just going back to the last item, I was out of the room in the restroom. I did not disclose. I want to disclose now that I had spoken with the proposed continuum developers, and I had spoken with several members of the public on the item. So I didn't get a chance to say that on the record for the last items that we approved.
Got it. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
If you plan to speak on the item at tab Q, please stand up and raise your right hand. Again, just one last time, if you plan to speak on the item at tab Q, stand up and raise your right hand. All right. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give in today's proceedings is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you. Tab Q, a proposed quasi-judicial resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, approving the vacation, abandonment, and sale of a portion of city-owned roadway located at Northeast 123rd Terrace between Northeast 17th Avenue and Biscayne Boulevard. Further authorizing the interim city manager to negotiate the sale of said section of public land and to take all necessary steps to effectuate same, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. This item was deferred from the June 11th council meeting.
Mr. Mayor, would you like the
Yes.
refresher?
Yes, please,
All right,
real
sir.
brief.
This request, as stated in the title that the Madam Clerk read, it's a vacation of a portion of Northeast 123rd Terrace. The subject property is a little over 14,000 square feet. It's a portion of the roadway that dead ends currently before you go into Biscayne Boulevard. The adjacent properties around it are owned by the applicant, who is seeking to obtain that piece of the roadway that's currently only used for, generally speaking, for parking for the gas station and
Yes, yes, I'm sorry.
the mechanic shop there. We are currently utilizing it as part of another development, but that will be worked through in a cooperative manner as this project moves forward. Planning Commission did recommend approval for it.
Yeah.
Now,
I think okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
This was the last one that we asked to move. Yeah, I didn't need a presentation for that one, but okay.
Okay, sir. Again, as you can see on this picture, you'll see the actual section of the 123rd Terrace that involves the request. It's between 17th and Biscayne. And they do have an idea of a project that they would want to talk to you a little bit about for the purpose for this. But today's is the abandonment. We are required by the code and our charter to obtain 2 independent appraisals. And while you can't sell it for less than 90%, you certainly can request either the full value or some other number that you're going to ask for, but no less than 90%. They did come in very, very similar. It's $1,770,000 and $1,700,000. So it would be a minimum of 90% of the highest valuation, which would be $1.593 million.
It would be 100. Let's leave out that 90%.
Yeah, let's
I
not
don't think
do it
council.
at 90.
Hope we don't start asking for 120.
And I was even thinking about the 2 million.
Okay, sir. There are conditions to any abandonment after payment by the applicant before we will convey the property through a city deed, and we'll be working with the city attorney's office on that. They also have to provide easements that may or may not be required by the utility companies based upon their application. It seems like their FPL needs an easement, and the city may need some sort of easement as they're going through the development, but we will definitely have that as part of the condition. And then they will have to unify all 3 parcels of land that they plan to redevelop into a single project, and that is 45 days after you all approve it, assuming you approve it tonight. Within 45 days of the adoption, that means we have to get the money from them quickly and then get them a city deed. So it's a pretty tight timeline to get everything done and recorded. So, to recap, next steps, collect the money, issue the city deed, and then they have to record it within 45 days, including a unification of those properties. With that, that's the end of my presentation. The applicant is here with a little presentation of their own.
It's late, yes, real brief. Because we're on a good thing here. We're talking about money, so you don't want to make it.
Good evening. Chris Collins with Urban Design. Office is at 696 Northeast 125th Street, North Miami. I've presented this 2 times in the past.
Yes.
I'm in complete agreement with staff's recommendation and available for any questions or comments you may have.
Love it. Thank you so much. We good? Councilman, Vice Mayor?
See if there's any public discussion.
Yeah, that after Vice Mayor.
Sure. What do you intend on doing there?
The applicant or the property owner owns the property to the north and to the south of the road that we're seeking to vacate. The intention is to demolish the existing buildings that are there today and come in with a new mixed-use development. We haven't initiated design of those plans yet. We need to obtain the road first, but the intent is to fall in compliance with the Transit Overlay District.
Councilwoman, any question?
Thank you, Mayor. I did meet with the applicant. I think Hiram is the owner of the properties that are mentioned, and they talked about a development piece that would come to that corner. I think, you know, they haven't shown me the project as of yet, but I think using that area for a development would be beneficial to the area and to the city. So I'm in support of the item. But I will say that there is 2 appraisals. I would rather us go with the higher.
Yes, we said that. No, we said 100%. Yes.
100%.
We were trying to do 101, but legally, we can't. Yeah, and I think, Councilman, you had a question?
No.
We
just
good.
go with the first one.
So, move for approval.
We got
at
a
the
Second.
public hearing.
Oh, I thought we did public hearing open. Public hearing open. I thought we didn't close it. We are talking, public hearing is closed on the item.
Second the motion for the full 100% of $1,770,000.
I have a motion made by Councilman Charles to approve the item at tab Q. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. Mayor Desmond, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Charles, how do you vote?
Yes.
The motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. What else?
That concludes
are we
the
done?
items.
The whole agenda, you're saying? Q, R was moved?
Yeah, INS, yeah.
They both were moved, right?
Mhm.
So we done, John. We done. Please, can
I
we-
just have quick council report,
Okay.
and I never have a council report.
Go ahead.
Congratulations to the Florida Panthers for winning the Stanley Cup. I know Dave Burney is a super fan. He's literally
Oh my
at
God,
like
Dave is
every
here.
game. I will be at the parade on Sunday, not because I'm like the world's biggest Panthers fan, although I am a Panthers fan and a Heat fan, a Marlins fan, and certainly a Dolphins fan, a long-suffering Dolphins fan. But it now becomes apparent to me as I get older and that Dolphin championship keeps becoming more and more elusive that I better celebrate these Panthers. So I will be there on A1A on Sunday to celebrate. I want to thank the staff of the North Miami Public Library for a couple of the West Africa celebration events they've helped me do just recently. We did an event a couple of weeks ago celebrating West African authors. So if you want to pick up some books by either diaspora authors living in the States or West African authors living abroad, you can check them out at our North Miami Public Library. You can pick up some of the smaller ones at the little libraries, at the 6 different little library locations. And then today we did a really fun Kids Can Cook event where they made jollof rice.
What? And they didn't invite me?
Yeah, and it was
Well, hold up now.
quite
Wait a minute.
tasty.
We got an
Made with
issue.
some healthy ingredients. So the library really helped pull everything together and make it seamless. It was today's
It was
jollof
nice.
again was for kids, so it was for little
What
ones.
that mean, Scott?
It wasn't for
Georgia,
big
I know
people
you
like
did
us,
that. You know, we got you. We got
It
you.
was great. And on Labor Day weekend, September 1st, I think it's that Sunday, we're going to be having a Taste of West Africa event
Ooh.
at the Galvin Center, where
I
it's going to
like
have different restaurants and dishes from different Caribbean nations, different West African and other East African nations, from the United States, of course, and Commissioner Marlon Bastien has insisted that we have a jollof rice
Oh, cool.
competition between the different countries. So we're working on that, but that's on Sunday, September the 1st, and you can check out information on all of those events on my website, scottgalv.com. I encourage and welcome the city of North Miami to share it on theirs as well. So that's all I've got for a report tonight.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Timothy.
Hi, Mayor and Council. As you all know, I am attending virtually now because I have a little one at home that I'm feeding right now. I thought she would be awake to, show you all. But District 2, our office is still open. I will be attending meetings virtually until she's, ready for the outside world because she is so tiny. But Chanel is available and I'm available virtually for the next couple of weeks. We will be doing our summer pop-ups. Summertime is here. Last year we did pop-up at the parks. The year before we did field trips. So my office is exploring, we're exploring right now what we're going to be doing this summer. The North Miami Public Library, the Lucia Gonzalez Talk Block will be opening soon. So we'll be celebrating that at the end of the summer. And that is it for me in District 2.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Councilman.
Oh, be me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my God. Thank you, Mayor. And first, I would like to invite everybody to the grand opening of our District 4 satellite office. It's set for Saturday, July 13, from 12 to 4. And the office will provide resources for our District 4 and North Miami residents to receive assistance directly, as opposed as coming to here and trying to answer any questions. And then more information will be forthcoming. I just want to say congratulations to our new staff commanders and our North Miami Police Department. You can count on me. I'll be present tomorrow at the swearing, and make sure that we have some good food, maybe some Haitian rice. I will enjoy it. Happy 4th of July to all our residents. And just want to say thank you to our city administration, police, parks, and public works, everybody who got involved when we got tested. That flooding basically was trying to test our resilience, and we did answer with force, and that gave us an opportunity also to better plan for whatever is coming ahead, God forbid. So we get the work done, and I know we are going to be ready for whatever is coming. On a side note, I just have a big complaint about waste pool. So to the city administration, I need some answer. This is sad. This is not our North Miami. Waste pool has done it time after time after time again, and now it is more frequent. They don't pick up. I don't know if it's exactly on the west side, on District 4, or everywhere in the city. This has become a problem. This, we need to address it to the highest level, and we need answer, and that has to stop. I am tired of getting yelling at. Yesterday, a resident was very, very upset, and she was right, because again, this is a service that we are providing to our residents, and the service is not free. So they need to get their act together, and I'm asking please to have a meeting with them and know exactly, because I am tired of hearing that excuse. We have a truck down, we have 2 trucks down, that's your business. You need to come in here, get the job done. I am tired of seeing trash cans pile up on my street and every other street for the entire day, and residents are waiting the next day. And I believe today it was like about 4 o'clock, there was still areas in the district that was not being picked up. This is unacceptable. We need to address it, and the time is now. I need some answer, because we cannot let that happen and then just stay silent about it. This is unacceptable. Thank you.
We will be in the process of scheduling that meeting, Councilman.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And again, good evening, everyone. I'm happy to report that there's action going on in Bree Swept. So if you live, especially if you live around the area, you know, there's construction, there's activity going. So I'm very hopeful that we will indeed have our functioning park on schedule for September. So I just want to thank Public Works. I just want to also thank Public Works and the city administration for dealing with what we had was a hard time last week when this city had to declare a state of emergency. Not only did our city have to do it, the county did it and the state did it. And you know, I can say that my district was one of the districts that was hit the hardest. So first of all, I'm glad to know that I think all of our residents were safe. But again, Madam Manager and City Administration, we really, even though I want to say that on the record as well, that we hadn't seen anything like this in about 20 to 30 years, and residents did say that. But I also know that we have a flooding issue, and this was a wake-up call. And I am looking forward to seeing what, you know, I'm asking that we have an infrastructure study done, and you know, within the next 90 days or whatever time, as quickly as possible. Let me just say that. We need that. What are the plans? You know, I don't want to give any illusions to anyone that while I'm asking that this is going to be a quick fix for tomorrow, but we need to start seeing a plan. We've had flooding issues, you know that. I'm also happy to report on Third Court, where I was so worried that they were able to sustain this flood, surprisingly enough. But then we have the Third Court on the other side, on the north side, that things were bad, and we shared that area with the county. So I know that we have to make sure that we have synergy with them in our plan. So I really would like a report, some some report of what we're going to do, what we intend to do, what are the short-term plans, what are the long-term plans, the studies for the infrastructure. That is extremely important. Again, I want to thank all of you, though, of staff, you, John, Katia, communications, Public Works again, for your hard work. But it doesn't stop here. We have to keep pushing. I mean, this was a wake-up call, like we've heard. This hurricane season, we're hearing, knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't really come through, that it's going to be bad. So if we were hit by this flood in this fashion, we really need to do everything that we can to have our city prepare and our residents prepared for this shock. So thank you. Yeah, that concludes my report, and happy 4th of July, everyone.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I just have a couple of brief announcements. Today we launched a partnership between Goya Food and the Nomi Food Pantry, which was very, very well attended by residents and member of the media and member of our Nomi Golden Senior Silver Program. This partnership will open up new opportunities for us, and it will allow us to serve more people than the current 750 people that are registered through the pantry. And without the partnership, and we want to thank Redwood for helping us. This has been at least 6 months in the making. Just working the logistic with Goya, we were very, 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 very thankful. And we want to thank the city departments for helping. Obviously, social service and housing, of course, Parks and Rec, and the different departments, services department, as well as communication for the work that they do. Last night was the last night of the CIB, the North Miami Citizen Investigation Board, which we said a couple years ago, but it went into sunset last night. As you know, House Bill HB 601, which was passed in this last cycle by the Florida legislature, and which was signed into law by the governor, which actually dismantled any type of investigation board by any groups in Florida. They kind of left some little stuff, but they really went on, and groups throughout the entire state. They cry advocacy group, but obviously Tallahassee, they went in. They were to do the bidding of the Republican governor, so they do what they have to do. So again, I want to thank the service and the members of the CIB board and the commitment that they did. Of course, Dr. Philip C. Harris, the executive director of the CIB. Thank you so much, Dr. Philip. Chair Randy Grice, Kevin Seidfried, Rose Michelle Grandpierre, the secretary of the board, Rabbi Lane that was here, Marsha Messick, and Andre Dominic Pierre, who served. This was an initiative that we created in 2020 as we saw the public trust and confidence in law enforcement and throughout the entire nation. But the intent of
Mayor,
yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I was a board member too.
Yes. They gave me the new list. That's true. You were one of the board members of this very, very important board, which was was for trust, public trust, and which we have, and which we always said. And I remember when we passed this, we had a good meeting with our former chief Juriga, and that was one of the things that we talked. We pride ourselves so much with the men and women of the North Miami Police Department. We knew that whatever type of thing that we had, this had nothing to do with our men and women, but it was an important step for our residents, for the folks that needed to have that piece of legislation. And I want to thank the members that really supported it, and the outcry from the community. Lastly, on a sad note, we lost a member of our North Miami family, very, very dear friend and related. It's with heavy heart announced the passing of Mr. Frank Cobo, the husband of our dear beloved resident, participated in library board, everything, CRA, you just name it, Blanca Cobo. The funeral will be this Thursday, and please keep Blanca. They've been together for 60 years. this 4th of July, they always go with me. I always pick them up and go to the 4th of July together. So Frank won't be with us this year. The service is on Thursday, and she loved the North Miami. They love the North Miami Foundation. They asked no flowers in Lower Flowers. Please send donation to the North Miami Foundation in honor of Frank. Again, that's basically it. Thank you all. And last note with this was a bad flood that happened. I mean, we saw it was something the entire state experienced. But I do want to thank administration and especially Public Work for the work that we did. All of our pump stations were working perfectly, in terms of what we experienced. However, some of the, and this happens a lot with us, a lot of the media kind of gave us some coverage that we didn't really deserve, but we didn't really know we were in the news for that type of of coverage until it was too late. But it happens because our name is North in Miami. Just like the guy that came here, the gentleman, say everything with North Miami, the North Miami Avenue should be us. Anything that happens, and you could just read it. I think it's more mindful of us being policymakers. Anything on the radio, anything that happens in the North Dade area. It used to be worse when Miami Gardens wasn't a city. But when Miami Gardens became a city, so they kind of say Miami Gardens. But before, if it happens right above or right below Golden Glades, North Miami, North Miami, North Miami. So a lot of the flooding, actually, it wasn't really in our city. And I was very, very pleased because we were out. Wednesday, there was no comparison. Wednesday was bad for everybody. Everybody in the state, everybody in South Florida, it was bad. Both, everywhere. Thursday, surprisingly, Keystone, the folks, they were texting. They were so happy, thankful. And I checked with Third Court. Things were moving. We had a little thing with sewer, but that's a whole different issue. There were the issues that we had, which was in District 3, the 143rd, 142nd, and 141st. They were addressed by 2 p.m. on Thursday afternoon, and those guys, they worked. They worked tirelessly the entire night, clockwise, to make sure that the water went down in response to that. However, we had some numbing because 144th is outside of North Miami. But, 144th is outside of our area. So, no, I'm saying the 144 in 16th Avenue where we were. And it's funny because part of the street is North Miami, unless you really, really know. And I told the people, because the lady was like, I don't even know. I pay my water in North Miami. I said, no, ma'am, you're not in North Miami. And she said, how would I know? I said, well, even some elected officials, they were like, I don't know, if it's Miami, if it's Miami-Dade. I told them the best way, just look at the garbage can. And that's what she was like, oh my God, yeah. I said, yes. So that was part of the county, and because the issue was severe, and that caused us to get some of the water that was on 144th that came, but we were able to resolve it, and we were helping them out. But again, national news, everything was like North Miami, and of course we couldn't go and say, well, it's the county, it's not really us. We just kind of went out there and did what we do. But yes, we do have to, I think all of us, this was a lesson learned. Hurricane season, I know we got the kits coming, we just have to be ready, and we are in a coastal city. We just have to get ready and do what we do. Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Any report?
Yes, so certainly my most sincere condolences to the Cobo family. I also want to express my thanks and gratitude to the Public Works Department for their great response and even helping to facilitate assistance for folks who lived outside of the city but called the office for help. And to that end, for folks who were affected by the flooding, Miami-Dade County has launched a flood damage survey. So you can call 311 for more information or go to the county website to actually take the survey. And it's important that folks actually participate in the survey because there's an opportunity for them to determine what resources they can bundled together for the future. But that does not remove the responsibility to contact your insurance company if you have damage that needs to go through your insurance carrier. Speaking of weather-related items, it is Lightning Safety Awareness Week. And do with this what you will, but the research says that the vast majority of victims each year are typically male. I don't know why. There's also, we know that on August 20th, the primary election is taking place, and the deadline to register to vote or change your party affiliation is July 22nd, and the deadline to request a vote by mail ballot is August 8th. And finally, the great philosopher Kendrick Lamar once said that every now and then you have to make an appearance and remind them who you are. And I think that it's important, to, maybe pop up somewhere like Canada, but if maybe you want to take a vacation to the tropics, wherever you want to go overseas, the city clerk's office is here to help you obtain your passport. So feel free to make an appearance in our office, show us who you really are with your little passport pictures, and get a passport with us. Thank you so much.
They not like us.
Okay, next. I don't know what that was, but yes. Is it time to go? Adam, go?
Does the city attorney have a report? That was your report, okay.
That was a mic drop?
As close to one as we can get. So we do have a report from the interim city manager's office. First of all, we want to extend much gratitude towards Denny's Corporation because they were able to go ahead and donate some food to families in our community who needed that during our crisis and who were in shelter. So we definitely appreciate that donation. But next, we want to also really recognize all of our staff, but in particular our Public Works Department, who worked around the clock, and I kid you not, I mean around the clock, not only in the streets, not only fielding calls, not only protecting our buildings, and again, all staff really showed up for us, for the city in this crisis, but I really do want to recognize Public Works for a wonderful job done, and just a heartfelt thank you. That concludes our report.
Oh, and Nikki, we must say.
Huge shout out to Nikki.
She really took it down, and we have to say lastly, the county was phenomenal. Mayor Kava, the entire team, the EEOC, they were phenomenal. We have to say our
Red
two
Cross.
commissioners, right?
Red Cross.
Red Cross came in through the county, and our two commissioners, Commissioner Bastian and Commissioner Mickey Steinberg, phenomenal. Thank you. And our Congresswoman Chevron called, our state folks, so everyone. They thought it was us, but we're good. We are friends. Thank you. All right.
I have a motion.
Good night, everyone.
I have a motion to adjourn made by Councilman Charles.
We cannot go anywhere yet. Citizens Forum.
Oh.
Councilwoman, you did that. You're not here. Citizens Forum, because Bill is here. Bill has not spoken yet.
Yeah, the councilwoman did her report.
I know,
She
but
did it
Bill
right
hasn't
after.
done.
No, but I'm saying
Oh, yeah,
councilwoman did her
Councilwoman did,
report.
yeah. It's the Citizens Forum. Bill, go ahead. We got
Claudia
Bill and
Claudia Pasmino, 13504 Northeast 23rd Place. I want to give a big shout out to Public Works. You guys did an excellent job. Luckily, I was not affected this time with the flooding, but I went Friday to get sandbags. I was in my car. It was hot. I was wearing t-shirt, flip-flops. But the gentlemen there, they were so nice. They were polite. They were in good spirits. They came up. They got my license. And they're smiling. And I'm like, I'm in my car. I'm hot. I'm sweating. I'm in a bad mood. I want to get the sand. So I just want to say, Public Works, you guys are great. And I was with them for half an hour. Imagine them in the rain. And so whoever's watching this, like I know normally they give the police department like free lunch. I hope Chef Creole gives Public Works team free lunch because those gentlemen deserve it. I don't know if there's ladies in that group, but they definitely deserve it. And I'm a little bit upset because I heard how we have a women's board who advocate for the women. We have a youth group that advocates for the youth. But I personally feel we have nobody that advocates for the residents. Because honestly, I do feel that you guys favor developers are favoring the 1%. You have North Miami's big, and you guys want to create these tall buildings, even though you saw we have flooding issues. If we spend all the energy, time, and resource to fix the infrastructure instead of having meetings after meeting about letting somebody create a tall building, their vein project, I don't know. I'm at home and I'm like, we're having another meeting about this. I'm like, really? Be happy with 196, whatever the mayor proposed. We just saw flooding. So again, please consider the entire, it's what a democracy, don't consider the 1%, the entire city. It just gets me mad when I see Third Court, they're just sending me videos saying they were not that well, that they had a lot of water. And I'm like, yeah. So it's not like, oh, thankfully the water receded. No, Third Court, it took a long time. And again, it's not a wake-up call. You guys been knowing that we get flooding, the infrastructure, so it's not a wake-up call. This is like finally in your face. It's like, look what the residents been telling you for the longest time. So it's not a wake-up call.
Good evening, everyone. William Previtel, 11930 North Bay Shore Drive. Hopefully everybody saw in this month's Biscayne Times the lovely article, What's Not Up with North Miami. It's a good read for everybody. I wanted to thank you for tonight's vote on passing it, that there was a voice of reason of what we should be doing here in the city. And that is, we are really losing the forest through the trees. The issue is not about height. The issue is about how sustainable is it? Because if you get a larger product, it's more sustainable, it's more energy efficient, it's more economic providing, it provides more jobs, it will last longer, it will look better aesthetically. Everything is better. Not just worrying about a few inches here or there. Some of us have been here 12 times to the building. All of us have been to the building tonight. Some 100 times, some 1,000 times. Who here can tell me the height of this building that you've seen 1,000 times within 1 foot? Can you do it? For the life of me, I can't do it. I can't say within 1 or 2 feet what the height of this building is, and I'm a damn professional architect for 50 years. And I don't know. For the same way, have we ever gone to a high building and you go downtown or something, you see a great building that's up, it's the Armani, it's the Museum Tower, it's something else. It's these wonderful towers. And we go up and it's, wow, look at the features, look at the amenities, look how nice this is. Have any of us ever gone up to those buildings and said, that 800-foot building, that's wonderful, but you know what that needs? 13-foot, 5 1/4 inches less. It doesn't happen. You just go, damn, that's a good project. You know what does happen? Is that people ignore the mediocrity. When there's something up there, whether it's 10, 20, 50 floors, when it's mediocre, when it's really underwhelming, then you turn away. That's why it doesn't upset us, because we just turn away. So thank you for supporting height and quality. Thank you for the quality.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you.
The motion was made by Councilman Galvin to adjourn, seconded by Councilman Charles. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote. The time is now 10:08 p.m. Good night, everyone.